Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're in the world. Welcome to Football Talk Podcast. My name's Fuzzy, and I'm your host for this evening. No need for me to keep my tone down. Liverpool are Premier League champions.
Come on, come on.
Finally happened, guys. It was always a big build up to this afternoon, and we almost got scared in the beginning. But we'll talk about the game in more detail. But it's only right that we do a celebration episode. I mentioned in the past that I don't drink because obviously I'm Muslim, but I smoke. So I've got my sheet in the background. I've also got my brother in the back as well. Double D, big up yourself for coming on.
Yes, bro.
How
I'm
are you
here. I'm here,
feeling?
man.
Let me know your emotions right now. How does it feel to see your team win the Premier League today?
Ooh, it's mad, man. A tear came to the eye. That obviously it was inevitable once we got ourselves. I'd say since we beat City, realistically, like without being
Mm,
too like we believed from the turn of the year.
yeah,
But in terms like once we got past City, because everyone was thinking, oh, City might get points off them, this, that, and next, etc. So yeah, Arsenal losing to West Ham at home, and then like obviously then winning against them. Then once then it was like, yeah, it's just a matter of time now, isn't it? So obviously we were cussing about the Fulham defeat, but it's worked out. So we've won in front of our fans, which made it even more special. The celebration that rather than like it still would have been special anyway. And when we lift the
yeah.
trophy after the season, it's going to be special. But it's just that, like in terms of winning getting the actual points that were needed to get there.
Yeah.
Um, at home, it was wicked. It's wicked, man. It's wicked, and like celebrations and whatnot.
Yeah.
Big up Slot for obviously singing like Jurgen Klopp's name.
Do you know what?
Like,
I
yeah,
forgot. I literally forgot. So let me bring up for you. So let me bring up the song so we can see how it landed today.
Honest blood. La 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 la. Honest blood. La 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 la.
And then 1 year later, Arne Slot returned the favor.
returned it.
Jürgen Klopp. La 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 la. Jürgen.
Now you have to give props to the man as well because, of course, Jurgen Klopp started it in terms of, giving him a song, which was a pretty nice touch as well, I think, from Jurgen Klopp. And it shows his class as an individual. And it also shows the class from Arne Slot to mention that in his opening line when he got interviewed about how does it feel. And then he said, look, I have to give my props to Clark because, he put me in a good position before I even stepped onto
Yep.
Anfield. So yeah, my question for you is, does this title win feel special in comparison to the one that we won in 2019-20? Or how would you rank the two? Like, what would be the first
Um,
one that you feel like is the special one for you?
for the players, us as fans, like any
Yeah,
title winning any trophy is
of
the one, right? Like even when we've won league cups, I'm there, going mad at that. But the 2021, because it stopped like the top division right in it, because the last
yeah,
time we won it was the old first division.
yeah.
That was the special one to break it, but we didn't get to celebrate it like we would have because we were in the middle of a what will hopefully be a once in a lifetime pandemic. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we can celebrate this one better, but still just doing it in 2020 after the heartbreak of 2019 as well, when
Yeah.
like they went behind. Who was it? Was it Glenn Murray that scored? And then it wasn't even like 90 seconds later, and then Aguero equalised. So being teased like that. So like this is special. Don't get twisted because obviously we can celebrate it differently. But 2020 was still because it ended. It was like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
and the way we beat up the league, that league was won way before COVID. We were 25 points ahead of Man
Yeah.
City at one stage. You get what I'm saying? But way ahead. People were shook that we were gonna do.
December time,
Well, I
isn't it?
say
December,
people.
January time.
Arsenal fans were shook that we were gonna be invincible as well. You get me? So it
Yes.
was like, yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it was mad. It was mad. It
Mm.
was mad, man. But this is yeah, this is sick. Like Argentina just come to us like, yeah. And there's so many videos of what I want to put out, but I thought, you know what, I can wait. I can find them bit by bit,
Yeah,
week
yeah, yeah.
by week, because obviously they're not going to lift the trophy till the 25th. You get what I'm saying? That last, you get me that last game and that. So it's Wolves in it on the
Yeah.
last day, and it Wolves was
Oh,
a Palace.
last day is
Palace, no, it's Palace, isn't it? We beat Wolves the other day.
Palace
It's
at
Palace.
home.
It's Palace. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
thinking of the.
it's at
I
home
previous
as
thing
well.
is Crystal Palace at home, innit? So yeah,
Yeah, Crystal Palace.
um,
And that's gonna
yeah, I'm
be it's
saying,
gonna be a big day. Yeah, for me as well. I think the one in 2019-20 probably resonates with me a bit more.
yeah,
Just because it was the first time in 30 years, because that was the big talking point.
mm,
And as we were like building the season, rival fans are like trying to not brainwash and stuff, but it's kind of like, nah, you ain't gonna win it, you ain't gonna do
yeah,
nothing. Like it was just that, it was that kind of tone, and they were riddled because we were, like you're saying, we were pretty much wrapped up the league long before COVID happened. I think it was like December, January, we were like
yeah.
18, 20 points ahead. So it's kind of like, it was kind of wrapped up. And look, hindsight's the thing because for me, if COVID didn't happen, who knows? We might have done the invincible because we were in such good, rich vein of form. Like I think we could have achieved something very special in the season. But look, a title win is a title win. I don't really care. I don't know some fans will rub it on you and be like, oh, but you haven't done anything bit so like
But
it's
this
look,
happened now. It's just hate, bro. People are upset. Their prediction for the season didn't happen. Everyone thought if City, everyone questioned whether City would have the hunger or not. Because
yeah,
no one had done four in a row, innit? So everyone questioned they'd have the hunger or the drive to be able to do five in a row. So
yeah,
everyone then thought Arsenal would be next up. But anyone who told me Arsenal, who I told last
mm,
year when I didn't even know Slot was going to be our manager, seasons aren't the same. It doesn't work like that. That just
yeah.
because you've come second 2 seasons in a row, you're going to be next up. So
That was the notion from Arsenal fans. That's literally what they thought. And if that was the case, then we would have had more Premier League titles to our name because we've lost two
yeah,
on the
by
last
one
day
point. Yeah,
by 1 point as well. So it's like, it life doesn't work like that. It's not because you were so close one year, the following year you're going to get where you like. It doesn't work like that at all.
yeah,
So for Man City, I think the Rodri injury certainly impacted the whole season. When I feel like you could tell that he's a special player for City, but yeah, it literally, it was like a domino effect. They fell to pieces really. So
yeah,
for me, it was like always special that like I thought even if we challenged for the top, I would have regarded it as a good season.
mm,
But we just went strength to strength. Honestly, we were relentless at times this season, and Arsenal still talks about that Nottingham Forest defeat. But that was
yeah.
the only blip we had apart
But
from
that was a good learning thing for him because obviously the subs he made in that game didn't work. He switched to a three at the back. He had two fullbacks in that three because he probably just thought, yeah, Nottingham Forest they could do a job,
yeah.
and
And he
it
started the
was
South
numbers.
American players as well, which
Yeah,
which
yeah,
had an
yeah.
impact.
Not too
So they
long,
just
yeah.
came from
After the
international duty. Yeah.
international break, because like I'm not gonna lie, when the season started, even after we were winning, then lost to Forest and then went back to collecting more points, I was still like, third is the best I think that we could get because City sometimes mainly they've started slow, but they had a decent start to the season. So you're thinking, oh yeah, City are going to do it again, five in a row, right? But it's when it got to like 10, 11 games in, I was like, "Do you know what? Secretly,
Yeah.
like, and each week I was changing. It was
Yeah.
changing my mind in regards to. I'm trying to think of what result in particular made me like.
For me, the turning point was the game against Southampton, which was the one we played just before the City game. Because everyone was like, from a
Oh,
logical
the
point of
three
view,
two,
oh,
the
if you
3-2,
beat,
yeah.
yeah, so if you
Yeah,
beat City, then you're gonna win the title. But I thought that game was like it showed us a different level. Like, look, we don't have to play fantastic every game. If
yeah,
we can grind out results, I'm like, that's true sign of the champion. And I feel like
yeah,
we showed elements of that earlier in the season, and of course we've done it in the second half as well. So for me, the way we were playing it, it felt like we were very hard to beat. Defensively, I think
yeah,
we don't. It doesn't get spoken enough. We were quite, you know, people couldn't figure us out from a defensive point. They couldn't break us down. Like, we were very
Yeah. And
organized.
South, funnily enough, sorry, bro, yeah, that was the
Yeah,
12th game because I was going to say from the 11th for 12th game, that was the 12th game, that 3-2 win against
yeah,
Southampton. Yeah,
yeah. So that was it for me. That was my thing. My feeling. I was like, do you know what? We're gonna win the title. And I think I said it. So if you want to check my shows, you can check it. I've got it. I've said
yeah,
it out loud. It was the game I thought we're gonna win the league. So for me, the signs were there, and Arsenal fans were thinking it's going to be their year because of, like we just mentioned earlier,
yeah,
we came second. They've been second. Well, hopefully they will finish second. They'll be second 3 years in a row. So
yeah,
I didn't see anything from the Arsenal team. Like for me, they deployed different style of playing. They went for. I think Arteta moved into like Jose Mourinho or something like that, where
yeah,
he tried to play more of a defensive approach, and then he moved over to Stoke City football, where he's like, I'm going to win games through pieces. And like you completely transform the style of playing. I think for him it was like win at all cost.
yeah,
Don't need to play good football, win at all costs. And when it comes to things like that, you've taken the DNA out of your team. Like that's not how Arsenal played under Arteta. Forget their history.
yeah,
Under Arteta, they don't even play that way. So for me, it showed me that look, the way we're playing is very reminiscent of how we played under Jurgen Klopp. It was more calm, more measured, more
yeah,
composed from the
yeah.
back. We weren't. It wasn't
Then
chaos all the time,
what,
and that's what I really enjoyed. And a lot of fans, it took them quite a while to get accustomed to it because I'm sure you will remember the first few weeks of the Premier League. Fans are like, I'm not sure about this football. Like it's not Jurgen
yeah,
football, but
yeah, yeah.
it doesn't have to be Jurgen football for you to win titles.
We
Do you know what I mean?
this
So,
this is this is the thing though. Obviously, you
mm,
said that about Arsenal, but obviously Peppers having been someone that Arteta used to work under as well. It's
yeah,
best with his head, isn't it? You just keep going the same way that you were playing, but
yeah.
you made your changes. And the thing is, it's not really even been a title race, has it? Because they've never been top this
They
season.
haven't been top once this season. Like not even for one day. They haven't been top
They've
at
not
all.
been top. They've not been top at all, have they? But
No.
yeah, that's best of his head, and they've looked like some of their games have sent me to sleep. We've had games that aren't. We've had quite a few games this season that haven't been very exciting to watch. But
Yeah.
what Slot has done is that he's organised the team. Look, so there's certain times where, because when we've been so used to the gegenpress, right?
Yeah.
Team opposition have the ball, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, press them. And we're not really, maybe one will go, but before it used to be
Yeah.
the whole Firmino used to start it and they just used
Yeah.
to smother them. Like the best goal I've ever seen under Klopp anyway, in terms of when we've tried to execute the press high up the pitch and the team has played around it was when we played I don't think it was the year we won the league. I think it was the year before. It was either 18-19 or 19-20. We beat Palace 4-3 at Anfield. And I think was it I think Andros Townsend scored the goal.
I
And
think that's
we
eighteen,
we
19.
we pressed them by the corner flag, if you remember, at Anfield,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
passed it up the pitch, passed it, and then played it round, and they scored. I'm sure Andros Townsend got the goal. We got this, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So we're so used to that type of press, and that's probably like the best the teams played against. Otherwise, we catch other teams, force them into errors, etc. So there's certain times, whether home or away, where they're not pressing as much, but it's all to try to reduce injuries, etc., and to make sure that they can last the whole game. So you're seeing in terms of obviously the stat guys will be at it, the analysts, medical team, and whatnot
Yeah.
will be at it and whatnot to try to reduce injury. Which is probably why Sox had so much confidence in playing the same. Even today, though, I thought maybe Harvey or someone would be thrown in today. It didn't matter in the end, we've won and won 5-1. But
Yeah.
he takes what each game, he organises them to take what each game gives them. So we don't have to be scintillating. As long as we don't
Mm,
concede. The only
yeah.
time we've been 2-0 down this season or behind by 2 goals is recently. We went 2-0 down to Newcastle in the
Yeah.
final when we lost. And Fulham, though we took the lead, Fulham got to be 2 goals of us 3-1. But you see, as happened so late in the season, under Klopp happened before, you might be able to come back or whatever. Obviously, in the earlier days of Klopp's reign, the fact of coming back is where it could be. But people can say what they want about, worst champions and whatnot. We were being compared to Leicester City the other day on Talksport. You get what I'm saying? Which is it's all nonsense. Like the hate's all nonsense, but it is what it is, isn't it? We've still won the league, innit? But he knows he's a tactically, he's been astute in 90% of the games, which is a lot more than you will hear from any other manager in terms of it's only been the right subs. What they've done, he's dropped Gravenberch in when we played Fulham into the defence. And with his ability to carry the ball, we were still able to play against them like it was 11 against 11. We sat
Yeah,
off against Man City, and even when they took in the away game, and then even when they said they told him what the possession stats were, he sounded disappointed. But we set up, we won the game in it. That we never had more possession, but we said unlock us. And apart from when Mamouche what scored and what he was offside, got through,
yeah,
then there was barely the only other chance that they had was when what's his face? Didn't Van Dijk slip? And De Bruyne had a chance, or was that in the home game? But even in the like, I think that was the home game actually when Van
mm,
Dijk slipped to De Bruyne had a chance. But yeah, either one, it might
yeah,
have even been the away game. But even in that home game, going back to December, um, though we never scored as many goals as like when Arsenal battered City, we was all over them.
yeah,
All over them. I've not seen us be that dominant on them in the first half since the 3-1 when we last won the league.
yeah,
You get what I'm saying? When we were just
mm,
onto them, just flying forward with we were passing it or counter attacking either. So we take to each game. That was the most Klopp like performance of the slot reign. That
yeah,
took that 2-0 at home to City back in December, at the start of December. So yeah, he takes what each game gives him and applies them tactically for each game. You saw how we played against Man United away, for instance, and whatnot. So people can say what they
yeah,
want, if they think they're boring or whatever, we don't care. We don't care.
yeah,
If you're not winning things and you're boring, that's a whole different kettle of
yeah,
fish. You get what I'm saying? But if you're winning, I don't care. More than one way to win, and the team have they've shocked me, bruv. Yeah, I had a bag of bets on before the season started, and I was able to cash them out. You get what I'm saying? Well early because like some bookies, I know that one that weekend I've cashed out one from was it William Hill? I can't remember if it was William Hill or Sky, but one of the two. Paddy Power paid out that same
yeah,
weekend. You get what I'm saying? That was like back in February or something like that. So you
mm,
get what I'm saying? So like knew it was coming, but no, it's wicked. It's wicked, man. It's whether I'll be able
yeah,
to get to the parade or not, don't know. But
yeah,
nah, man, cherishing this thing because not in this promise. But the joke is that as great as we've been, and we can still get at least 90 points, which is what I want as well, right?
yeah.
Imagine we had a 10 that scores more. Yeah.
Looking
Imagine
tough.
we had a 9 that is gonna get a good amount of goals to take some of the pressure off Salah. Even Salah was talking
Mm,
today about how the way the team is set up, he doesn't have to defend as much. He
yeah,
wasn't trying to have a shot at Klopp, but he was just saying that the way how it is, like he's not having to run back as much and do whatever. But yeah,
yeah,
I was happy for him. He got his goal still, but
yeah. Me too. Me too. I
uh,
think
yeah,
with like with Salah, for example, it definitely wasn't a shot at Klopp because he was just trying to give that message to Slot that look, I'm getting older now, so for me it's
yeah,
like to get the
I
best
can't be
out of me.
hairing up and down. Yeah,
Yeah, and then he's evolved like so he's got 18 assists so far this season, so he's evolved his game all the way around. So for me, like that's a smart sort of tactician there in on a slot
yeah,
where he's realized that you know what, he's the one that's gonna get us the goals. He's gonna get the
yeah,
assists.
yeah.
So let's try and work around him. So you mentioned about goal scoring number 10. Like for me, suppose like helps
He
Salah
should have. He
kind of
should have.
focus on that
Salah
aspect.
should have got another assist today because Soboslai should have scored.
I know, but the thing is, suppose I feel like what's not highlighted in terms of his performance that he has to cover the ground for Salah in order
Yeah,
for him to find those score goal scoring positions. So
yeah,
for me, in terms of what he brings to the table, I feel like it goes a bit under the radar. But having said that, I do agree. I think with Szoboszlai, that even today there was signs in the game where he had chances to shoot. He just went for the
yeah.
safe option to lay it off to someone or try to find Salah. Next season, he needs to try and be a bit more selfish in those kind of moments, especially when you find yourself in the final
We
third.
just need hungry Aussie us.
Yeah,
We just need
we
hungry
need that
Aussie, bro.
intelligence.
We need hungry
It's true.
Soboslai, bro. We need
It's
hungry
true.
Soboslai,
I
bro.
think
I
he'll
said
come.
hungry.
I can see it. I can see. I think he'll come. I think the first part of the season, I feel like he's still. I see this. I think he's still trying to understand that role. Like, am I a 10 or am I advanced 8? Because for me, I see him as an advanced 8. I know on paper it's a 4-2-3-1 formation, so you're
Yeah,
thinking he's the number 10. But in this day and age, no one really plays like a traditional number 10. Not
yeah,
from, when we grew up, we started watching players like Del Piero, them kind of players. We don't
yeah.
really get those players in this
Yeah,
day and age anymore. So,
totties and
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So that game has changed. Like we don't really play that kind of football anymore. So for me, both like I feel like today was evident in terms of like what he brings to the table. Of course, I'd like Liverpool to strengthen next year and find sort of like a number 10 that can do what we want, as in score the goals and then be a bit more direct when it comes to that thing. So that's the kind of areas that we of course need to strengthen. But back to your point about, you know, rival fans suggesting that this Premier League is poor and you guys were lucky to be champions and
haters.
it's the narrative on Liverpool. Whenever Liverpool are successful, they have to come up with a bag of excuses to justify themselves or to make them feel better. That's literally what it is because
Yeah, of
their
course.
team has been terrible, but at the end of the day, that's not our problem. We were set to do a job. Our job was to win the league
Yep.
or to challenge for the league at least, and we've done it and we've been successful. So if our teams have just been demolished in terms of if like Rodri was out and if teams haven't performed to their level, that's on them. That's a you problem, not
Yeah.
our problem. So for Liverpool, we've done what we needed to do, and
Yeah, exactly.
I completely disagree with the notion that the league is weaker this season because if you look at the table, it's not familiar top 10. You've got the likes
There
of
you go.
not Forest who are I know they're not in the top 4 right now,
Yeah.
but they haven't been in the top 4 for more or less the whole season.
The
You've
season,
got
yeah.
Villa, Fulham, Brighton, Bournemouth. These teams have elevated the Premier League table, in my opinion. You've got Man United and Tottenham in the bottom
That's the
4.
point. The league's not weaker. It's more
No.
competitive because those teams can take points off them. Bournemouth have beaten
Yeah.
City and Arsenal
Yeah.
this season. You get what I'm saying? The league, like those teams
The
in
most
that next
competitive it's
set,
been in a long time, in
that
my
next
opinion.
mini league outside of the European places, they can
Yeah.
beat you any. They can beat you any day of the week. And that is the point at the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Arsenal have any what they've their defeats this season have been to who? West Ham, Bournemouth, and Newcastle, isn't it?
Yeah.
West Ham, Bournemouth, and Newcastle. There you go. It's not no defeats against the Liverpools. Well, we still got to play them again. The Man Cities of the world. You get what I'm saying? So they can dare talk about their record against the top six, but at the end of the day, there's you can beat all the other teams and you still could be there or thereabouts on the title, regardless of your record against the top six. Before this, the last time we came second, we
Yeah.
didn't win or lose against. We drew all 6 games against that big six, didn't we?
Yeah.
And lost the league by a point. So at the end of the day, it's just about accumulating those points. But that other bit of the league is so strong now
Mm.
that they can take those points off you, regardless of the circumstances. So the league is not actually weaker, and that's why we've got 2 teams in the blood who
Mm.
were in the big six, but you can't really necessarily include them now with how they're
Yeah.
going. They're both in the
Yeah.
semi-finals of the Europa League,
Yeah. They're not
and
there.
what are they 13th or 14th or something like that? You get what I'm saying? So
Exactly. They can't talk to So for me, like I say band the rivals. So for me, it is what it is. Like they'll always have an agenda on Liverpool. Doesn't matter
yeah,
how we win. We can be invincible and they'll still have an excuse for us. So for
yeah,
me, it's just that it hurts them to see Liverpool win because, as we mentioned on the top of the show, it's no one expected this from Arsenal in their opening season. I think this has to be regarded as one of the best opening seasons from a foreign coach because he's come into the
yeah,
league
yeah.
with, you know, I
One new
wouldn't say he had
signing.
huge expectations, but he had huge boots to fill.
Yeah,
And to respond the way he has after Jurgen Klopp left, like you don't do that. You have to be a very special coach to do that. So I see it also. I know a lot of fans were not with Arne Slot when he first joined. I know some fans wanted Amorim, which goes to show you how
yeah.
much football
They
knowledge
thought
we have.
they thought Xabi, they thought it was Amarim or they thought Xabi Alonso was the be all end all, didn't they?
But
So
look what he's
because
doing in Bundesliga. He's not exactly making huge waves there, is he?
yeah,
So
after what they did last season, they only lost the one game in it to
yeah,
Atalanta in the Europa League final. He was
yeah,
never going to be able to do that again. You get me? So,
no,
never. And they won so many games late on in that as well.
yeah,
It was one of the ones where they would have to wrap up. They've had, don't get twisted, they've still had a few comebacks this season to wrap it
yeah,
up. But the thing is, as a manager, Xabi hasn't really faced any adversity until this season. So I
yeah,
was cool with the Stockton. As I said, I was a fan without knowing who he was when I was first looking at RZ Alkmaar's results. And
yeah,
then, because I do a European pod for another network, we covered our Alkmaar beating Ajax just before the pandemic. And they beat Ajax 2-0, so they went on level on points with them, but then they null avoided the season. So then when I looked at it, it's like, oh, Arne Slot. Then Tottenham tried to get him, obviously, finaled one league. And so I was a fan without knowing at first. So I like
yeah,
the way he spoke of that, but I'm still thinking winning the league in your first season would be a tough ask. But he's done it, bruv. He's done it and was competing on all four fronts
yeah.
until obviously the
That
Plymouth
1 week,
defeat came, and we still thought we could do a thing. But the main thing's the league. We're vexed about going out in the Champions League.
yeah,
And though we were outplayed in the first leg, we got the win. Second leg, we had enough chances in the second half to go
they
through.
did.
But then once it got to extra time, then PSG went into their own keeping possession wise, that is, because they still only scored one goal against us in 3 hours. So you
Yeah,
have to cuss them for their finishing. It wasn't just Alisson's brilliance. Their finishing wasn't good enough. So I've never seen a team get so much support for beating someone on penalties, because penalties are a lottery. You get me? FA Cup
yeah.
was ridiculous against Plymouth. We only started playing
But those
proper
results happened.
football in the last year. Then what happened? And it was even that it was a penalty. If they cut us open and scored, fair enough. It was a penalty, and we had enough chances in just like the last 8 minutes or so in the game, 10 minutes, that we could
Yeah,
have we could have beaten them. Um, so
yeah.
and then obviously the League Cup final, no thingy about that. Newcastle were the
They
better
deserved
team,
it. They were fantastic that day. So
easily.
you
They
got
were
to give
better than us.
some kudos.
They out battled us. They won all second balls. It was just too much. We looked tired, and that is probably the worst team in the Premier League to come against if you're tired. Them or a City in full flow, because of the
Yeah,
way City will pass it, but they haven't been this season. So this season in particular, Newcastle the worst team you could come against when you're fatigued and when you're fatigued and that. But that's another thing. Yeah, don't we've won the league. Slot. It would seem like he's been perfect. Hasn't been perfect. He sometimes, as you spoke about the Forest game, he played with South American players. Switch it up. Trust more people in the squad. Um, so we're going to see some sales this summer. Um, one or two players that we don't want to see go may end up going.
yeah,
I can't see Nunes around, for instance. I want Jota and Elliott to stay because they're two of my favourite players, but we'll see about them. Um, the Chelsea team will tell a lot, because you cannot tell me that the same starting 11. I expect at least seven of them to start, but you can't tell me the same exact starting 11 that started today. Or it's after midnight now, so yesterday is going to
yeah,
be the same team that plays away at Chelsea. We want to get as many points as possible, and it's not like we're in any other competitions. But if
yeah,
Harvey can't get a start or something, or if for the rest of the season you don't see Chiesa get a start, the Nunes thing, they're saying if he starts another game, you have to pay 5 million. I don't know if that's true or
yeah.
not. And Darwin's not helped it with his tweet, but
No,
if that he later deleted, but
yeah,
if let some players audition to be at the club for next season, man. Bradley picked up an injury in training, so hopefully that's just one game that he'll be missing. But let people mix it up, not
yeah,
wholesale changes because we want to get those points, but like
yeah. Of course.
free changes. You get me? He could even start Endo. He's run that midfield into the ground, mate.
Yeah.
You see it, but
But the
so
thing is,
yeah,
because we're not playing any other games, like honestly, will probably argue and say, look, we can field our strongest team every week. So
yeah,
for me, it's as long as the team's winning, as long as players like you mentioned Chiesa earlier, as long as they're getting some game time, they have to start. Like, as long as they're getting some game time, I think that would bode well for the future.
yeah.
I think, of course, it'd be good to embed some of the youngsters as well, the likes of Rio and Gamora, who
Yeah,
looks a
man,
special player.
get him on the bench, bring him on for the last 1 or 2
The
games of
first
the
game,
season. You get
yeah,
me? Because he played against Accrington Stanley. He wasn't in the squad for the Plymouth game, was he?
he scored
Or
a
was he
couple
on the
goals the
bench?
other day as well for the under 21s. It was his debut, and he scored
Yeah.
2 goals for him.
There
So,
you go, bruv. Because you can
so
see the boy can dribble in it. So it's
yeah,
just all about you can see that he can dribble. So it's just all about the decision making, whether or not because if that develops, the decision making with the way that he can
okay.
dribble, he'll be cold, bruv. If he can get that finish, you said he scored 2 goals for the under
He's
twenty
young.
ones,
He's
right?
only
But
16. He's
look
only
out for
16.
those.
He's
You
got
get
plenty of time to
um
develop and learn. So, but
you get
look,
what
for
I'm
me,
saying? Cold.
it's a special day today. I'm not gonna lie, and rival fans will have a lot to say, but one person that talks a lot is Gary Neville, and
Yeah,
this is what he went out. He said the debate is over with regards to LFC being the biggest club in England. If the biggest thing is saying out loud,
yeah,
it's black and white because the numbers don't lie, right? We've topped the sort of the highest amount of league title wins with 20
yeah.
with Manchester United.
And then the
Got
6 European Cups, so
6 European Cups. You know, we're up there. So if this haters makes that point, you know it's facts as well. So in terms of Arsenal, we've got a parade coming up soon. So I'm sure the club will need some photographers. So if Odegaard, if you're available, you know, contact the club. I'm sure we'll need your photography skills. At
an
some
extra
point, you
photographer won't hurt. You get me? Extra
yeah,
photographer won't
we'll
hurt,
need the
bro.
photography
We,
skills. You know
we,
what I mean? So
when you saying Operation Guard of Honor, yeah,
yeah, man.
that you're
Listen,
telling me,
that's
yeah.
the God of that's the God of Honor. We're gonna have a God of Honor next week against Chelsea with players that were supposed to join us, the Caicedos and the Labias.
You know
That
what
would
would
be
be good? The last time me and my cousin Flex went to Stamford Bridge was what 10 years ago when they won the league, and we had to give them the Guard of Honor. When Gerard got the equaliser, we drew 1-1. So yeah, that would be from a personal point of view, that would be nice.
that'd be sweet.
Guard of Honor, baby. You get what I'm
That'd be
saying?
sweet. Now, in
Mm.
terms of today's game, I think that was, of course, the first goal happened quite early on, around the 12th minute. I know for a fact I wasn't concerned about that goal being conceded. I still had faith that the team would do the damage.
Yeah.
Were you slightly worried that, because there was so much emphasis that all we needed was a draw and a win? Do you feel like, there was possibly a chance that we might lose the game?
Not lose it, but I was thinking, oh, we might only draw now, and then that will give these idiots that come up with the think pieces that are trying to belittle what we've done this season to say that, oh, they only needed a draw to win the league and they got a draw, sums up their season, blah, 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 underwhelming. They're only winning because the rest of the league is crap, blah, 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 blah. And to give them the opportunity to perplex that narrative. But
Yeah.
um, Solanke, I know he wanted to probably go mad, but like he ran a bit smiled or whatever, but not there. But at the end of the day, though they defended really well the other day when they beat Frankfurt in the second leg in the Europa League. Man, like Arne Slot, I didn't check on it. I only found out this week that Arne's not even his name.
Is it?
I only found that out this week, bro. Arne is not even his name. It's a Rend or something like that.
What is it? I didn't even know
Yeah,
that, to be fair.
but so oh shit, I can pick us up. You put the picture up. Oh, sorry, you were saying if you think we'd lose. So yeah, I thought that they were going to come with that narrative and
Yeah.
be chatting that rubbish and feel vindicated and coming with that rubbish. If it was a case where it did end up being a draw, but we honestly,
Yeah.
obviously, the excitement and we could have scored 10 today.
We could have.
Could
We,
have
we
scored 10.
produced so many chances. Like, of course,
Yeah,
the first half, I think we were very, very clinical. Where, of course, Diaz got the first goal,
yeah.
and then Leicester, what a shot, what a finish,
He's got that
left footed,
right
hit the
foot, left
roof of the
foot,
net.
bro. He's been doing it for Brighton, bro.
I
He's been
know,
doing it for Brighton. Left foot, right foot. Like you
yeah,
could do. He's just a quality player, man. He's just got a bit of bit of everything. He's always in there making tackles. You see the opposition trying to kill him every game, and it's not even like he's the tallest brother. You get me? But
Nah.
he's combative, bruv, and that's what
He's
you need in there.
tenacious, he's aggressive, like he
Yep,
knows how to put himself about on the pitch, and
yep,
that's what you need from
yep.
a midfielder. And the beauty of him is that he can play in different roles, as in
He can play
6, 8,
6, 8, or
10.
10. He can play
You
6, 8, or
do what you
10,
got to
bro.
do with him. So he's always going to be one of the first names in the team sheet. And then we had Gakpo, who for me has had one of his best seasons, and no surprise because he's been playing left wing, which is his natural position. So
We've
it
been
bodes well for the
we've been
future.
we were screaming for it, bruv. But you
Yeah.
know, a lot of these fans, they're in bed with Diaz, isn't it? You've got the Diaz sexuals out there. So
What do you
like,
think of Diaz? Do you see him staying at the club next season?
I like Diaz, but I'm not going to cry if he went. When he
Yeah.
first come, the way he was cooking people, and then he seemed to go back a bit, and then obviously
I think it was the injury the following season that took his
injury.
stride off, right?
What, when Partey fell on him? Yeah, Partey
Yes.
fell on him, and then he came back after missing how many months, and then he got injured again in the recurrence of the coming back, and since then he's not been the same. The consistency haven't been there. He's got what, 12 Premier League goals now, which if you were just to look at, looks like, yeah, that's fine. We'll take that from one of the wide forwards because you've got on the other side, you've got one of the best players to ever grace the Premier League in Salah. But when you think that Diaz had 5 in his first 5, you expected more goals from Lucho, bruv. You get what I'm saying, bruv?
Yeah.
The way he started the season, and the reason why we forgot about it is because there was that hat trick against Leverkusen
Leverkusen,
in the
yeah.
Champions League. So we all forgot and we let him off. But to get,
But he just had a purple patch that time. After
yeah,
that hat-trick, he didn't really score. I think he went like 18 games without scoring a goal. So it was a long period of
yeah,
time where
yep,
he
yep,
didn't hit the back of the net. So
yep,
I do agree with you. I think look, if he stays, I'm not going to have like a strong opinion about it because I do think he's a good player.
yeah.
But at the same time, if he wants to leave, if he wants to move on to go to Barcelona, or if he feels like he's not getting,
Also with Shu as well, bro.
Hmm,
He's on pittance wages wise compared to some of the other players in the squad.
yeah,
He's on pittance, bro. The
hmm,
likes of Chiesa are meant to be earning much more than him.
yeah,
Though obviously completely different transfer fees and whatnot. And then his dad's always twerking for Madrid and Barcelona and
yeah,
whatnot as well. Because you know these Spanish speaking players, obviously that's their dream to play for
yeah.
one of those two. But no, do I want him to leave? No. But if he was to leave, am I going to cry about it? No, also, because I know that there's someone, not necessarily Anthony Gordon, like this fan base one. The dream would have been to get Cavaschellia, innit? Like, I remember we did a preview before we played Napoli and we were waxing lyrical about him from early.
Yeah, he's
Everyone
cold.
caught on late. We were talking about how cold he was. But that would have been peanuts as well. And now the guy's worth how much money? And the thing is as well,
He's out of bounds. We can't get
and
him. So
yeah,
yeah,
now he's gone to
yeah,
PSG
yeah.
now.
But beforehand, yeah,
But beforehand, definitely, he went to
yeah.
Napoli for like, was it even 10 million? Was it like 7
No,
million he went to
it was,
Napoli
I
for
think it
or
was 8
something?
million. He went
It
for.
was 7 or 8 million, isn't it? Look at
Yeah,
that, bruv. And he can
yeah.
run the false 9 thing as well. Team low socks.
He's cold. Nah, he's cold. But yeah, we missed a trick there. We honestly did. Even in January, we showed interest to sign him, but
Yeah,
I
and
don't know.
I
Maybe it
think
wasn't
gassed
as
us. Wait,
opportunistic as enough.
was it all Seen or Fabrizio? Someone gassed and said that, yeah,
Fabrizio.
Liverpool. I think it might have even been Ornstein, which is why people got. I
Okay.
swear Ornstein said Liverpool are showing interest or something like that.
No, you're right.
In
It is on scene.
Vitska.
Yeah,
And then everyone was going live, like
yeah. I
Coppers
went
live,
live.
BSB live, and whatnot. I thought, no, don't do this to me, man.
No,
I'm
I
bringing
went
the
live
flip,
straight
bro.
away. I went live in
I've
the
still
same
got
evening.
PTSD from Fakir, bro. Don't do this to me, bro.
I know. I was getting gassed. I'm thinking, what? If Ornstein's saying that, then there must be something to it. But I think as because I think it wasn't opportunistic signing for us, but maybe the money was too much for the club to kind of
Yeah,
put their summer plans to one side. But one good news for me, in the last month or so is the contract extension of Mohamed Salah, and
come
I was
on.
loving the celebrations today. I know this is after the match where he took the
Yeah.
selfie, but he was doing it during the match as well.
Yeah.
and that was just like a
Man,
beautiful sight. Like,
man did a
you know,
Drew
like,
McIntyre.
I know, I love it,
the
I love it.
the fan gave him
Funny
the
tweeted as
fans
well
gave
saying
him
a
the
ball at work that would have been the icing on the cake for me. But I'm so pleased that he signed a contract extension as well as Virgil van Dijk, because if we'd gone into this fixture not knowing if they are staying or not, I
yeah,
don't think we would have enjoyed it as much. Because we're seeing how they are, they're like really thoroughly enjoying the moment. We know
yeah,
it means a lot to them, if that makes sense. So, but we've got to talk about this as well. We've got to talk about the picture right here. So this was after the
hey,
game.
hey,
And John Henry has thinking, where is this guy? See, where's this guy? Like, did he just like bunk off today? Like, what's going on? But he was there. He just wasn't caught on camera.
yeah.
And it's their picture cutting to Trent Alexander-Arnold. So my question to you, Double D, what do you think Trent's going to do? Do you think he's been swayed by the reception he received in terms of after the game,
Yeah.
or do you feel like he is kind of stuck on about leaving Liverpool and possibly joining Real Madrid in the summer?
Um, it's still 50-50 in my eyes. I think there,
Mm,
obviously, it's your boyhood club, in it, so you want them to
yeah,
win the thing there. The Leicester celebrations were crazy. If that had been the goal that won us the league, that would have been just as fitting today, though that was away from home. And it's great, obviously, to do it at home. Like the fans were ready, but they were
yeah.
ready for it. But do I think he's been swayed? I'm not sure. But
Okay.
if he has been swayed now, I wouldn't be surprised. You get what I'm saying? Because I was thinking, I was
Mm,
literally saying there that watching the game with the family, I said, is Henry? Like, should Henry come on the thing? And then just as I said it, I could see Linda. I
yeah,
never saw Werner, so I don't know whether David Werner was there or that was or Warner was there or not.
yeah,
But yeah, but I knew before the game that Henry was going to be there. But I don't know if he's been swayed, but if he was, it wouldn't surprise me because, as you said, the way the fans have reacted to him, it's one of them ones where he might be looking at now. Is like, "Do you know what? I can't leave this. I really want to go Madrid, but I can't leave this." But if he sort of said on going Madrid, golden trend, I'm not one of them fans that are calling you a snake and a pagan and all of them thing and an op and all them thing there. You've won everything at your boyhood club. And I'm sure if it was a case you was to go Madrid from 3-4 years, you'd only be 30. I know that like people would like you could come back. You know what I'm saying? Remember back in the 80s, that used to happen all the time. People used to
yeah.
go Serie
I know
A,
Ian Rush went to
the
Juventus and
Liga,
came back, didn't he?
yeah,
So it's
Serie
possible.
A, the Liga, whatever, and come back after a year. Some only just after a year. Michael Owen was hoping to do that with Real Madrid, but obviously it didn't work. And then he
Yeah,
went Newcastle. And I played more games for Newcastle than he did, but you
yeah,
know what? It's one of you get me. So it's one of them both there. But yeah, I still think it's still in my head. It's still 50-50. If he
mm,
still went, I'd get it. If it was a case where he stayed, he's probably thought, you know what? I really want to go to Madrid. It's a once in a more probably a once in a lifetime thing. I need to stay
yeah,
at Liverpool. But they were saying it looked as though his head was turned as soon as Klopp left, which
yeah,
would then make sense because the way he was crying, the way Virgil was crying and whatnot. But yeah, man, it's just nah, I'm still like, it's like, bro, we're champions. Like,
yeah.
it's
I
only the
know.
second time. Like, we've won how many trophies? The age we
I
are,
love,
because we're both
I
well
love,
over 30. You get me?
I love quotes. I love Arne Slott's quote at the end in the interview he did today, where he said that don't look at it as 2 league titles in 30 years. Look at 2 league titles in 5 years.
Yeah,
That's how you got to look at it. You
that's
can't
how
think
you have
about
to
the
look at it,
history.
bro.
You know what I mean? Because you
That's
got
how
to
you
talk
have
about
to look
recent
at it.
history, right? It's 2 and 5. Because
Yeah.
once you win one, that's when it's up. That's the benchmark now. So we've won one, and it's taken us 5 years to win the second. So 2 and 5, against a team like Man City, who arguably are probably one of the best teams in Premier League history.
Yeah.
It's not too shabby, if I'm being honest with you. So, but back to Trent, call me a romantic, but I feel like he might stay. Honestly, and I feel like from what I've seen over the years, when a player has made a decision to leave a club and they've won a title,
Yeah.
they're bawling their eyes out. Like they're proper emotional. He
Yeah.
doesn't seem emotional to me. Maybe he was old head, I don't know, but the way he was celebrating, his demeanor, and just speaking to like the senior figures of the club as well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But what would
I think he might stay. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't know whose side's pushing. Some are saying that he's his brother, like in terms of like agent and whatnot.
His brother gets
Some
20 million as like a sign-on fee if
look
we
look
go
at
to Real
that.
Madrid. So
Look
that's
at that
probably,
there, and Trent will get a fat signing fee, so he doesn't even
of
need to be
course, yeah.
on as high a wages
That's
as
the
he would.
annual fee
Yeah,
alone is 20 mil. Trent will get a
yeah,
lot more than that.
as his
You
next
know what I mean?
contract at Liverpool would be, right? So
Yeah.
I don't. I don't, I honestly don't know. But
Yeah.
if he stays as well, this league's in trouble, bro.
Mm.
It's in trouble because we will
I'll
buy.
regard it as the perfect season, opening season for Slot because we won a league title.
Yeah,
We were close to winning other trophies like the Carabao Cup and the Champions League. Obviously, the Plymouth one, we'll just put that to one side. But for us to have 3 contract extensions plus the league title, yeah, people need to worry about us next season. And I
I
still
don't.
feel like even if Trent does go,
mm,
to have Virgil and Salah staying on, still feel
Huge,
like that is such a
huge.
fantastic base and foundation for us to go
Yeah.
forward. Honestly,
Considering a month ago we thought all three were gonna leave,
yeah,
right? To
I can't
keep
lie.
two, to keep two, crazy. You get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
bruv?
But
So
to be
if you can
free,
so if you
it's
can,
even
if
better.
you free out of this world, it will be that that Vince McMahon meme when he was when Stacey Keebler was dancing in front of him, like you get me off the jet, be like, oh my god, you get what I'm saying? The mean,
Head over heels, yeah. That's how we're gonna be if Trent signs it. So you never know, man. You never know. Only time will tell. The season's going to conclude in the next few weeks, but I would love it if it was like the last day of the season and he just grabs the mic and he's like, I'm not staying. Like, no, sir, he's like, I'm staying. You know, like Leonardo DiCaprio from
what
Wall Street.
DiCaprio, yeah, with Wall Street,
Yeah, it's like,
not fucking leaving.
yeah, that would be hilarious if he does like that. But look, only time will tell if Trent does
You should have brought
decide
that
to
in your.
leave.
You should have brought that. Make sure you load that up in your PowerPoint for when it
Yo,
happens,
it's
bro.
there. It's
For when
there.
it
I'm gonna
happens.
load it up. Don't worry. It'll be better last day of the season. Has to be done, do you know what I mean? But look, for me, it's such a monumental season that we've had so far. Got a special guest in the background. I'm gonna bring him on now.
Yeah, yeah.
Uncle
What's
Rods.
going on? Going
Yo,
on?
Sheesh.
What's
Oh,
going
Uncle
on?
Rods, big up, big up, big up, big up.
1 second, I've got to do something with my bloody thing. Thing's gone.
go ahead.
The thing's gone all
Uh,
crazy. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good now. I'm good. Went on
how you doing, my
crazy,
brother?
bro. What are you saying, my G's? What are you saying?
Talk to me, Uncle Rods. I'm gonna shush it up, man. Talk to me, bro. I'm gonna do my smoke. You talk, bro. I'm
Oh, this is not easy, bro.
wait.
Real you, you know. That's a real you, you know.
Hey, bro.
Nah,
Hey,
listen, it's been an emotional day, bro. It's been an emotional
Wow.
day, man. It's
bro.
been like, listen, this is what we've been living for. I mean, I can remember, well, you know, I'm telling my age, but I'm old enough to remember the day one when they last celebrated at Anfield
Yeah.
properly in front of the crowd. Do you know what I mean? That was back in 1988 when we beat Spurs. Do you know what I mean? But like to have it, I mean, last time we won the league in the day, I didn't really care as long as we won the league. Do you know what I mean? But today was just like extra special, extra, extra, extra special. And I'll tell you what, sort of like what endeared me to sort of like Klopp, because I've never been a fan of Klopp. I never hit it. I've never hit it. Do you know what I mean? I've never really been a fan of because I thought personally, I thought he lacked experience to take over the helm. Do you know what I mean? You know, I don't hate the guy, don't dislike the guy. I just think it thought he didn't have the experience. You know what I mean? But like, he's proved me wrong. He's proved me wrong. He's won something monumental, and I'm in this business to be proved wrong, because when I'm proved wrong, it's at the betterment of my club. You understand what I'm saying? But
Facts.
for him to say, look, he said today, he goes like, when Klopp was here last time at the end of the season, he goes like, he introduced me and sang a song, and he done the same thing today. I thought that was so humbling. Do you know what I mean? And like to see the fans and the players, to see Allison tearing up. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It was just,
Virgil as well.
yeah, but bro, I was close, man. I was edging him. I had a lump in my throat, you know, G. I had a lump in my throat. You get me, but it was so special to watch it with my little brother. who who has been like a lifelong Liverpool fan. He supported Liverpool before me.
Yeah.
Trust me, before me. He's even really brought me into it. Still, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, it's just so special today. It was just so special from the minute go when we started attacking them, and then when they scored a goal, and then we got a goal back, and then we got a next goal. And McAllister's goal was just phenomenal. It's just
Banger,
such a
banger.
special day, man.
Oh,
It's just such a special day. And listen, I just want many more of them to come. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to wait another 5 years for
yeah.
this to happen. I want it to be next season and the season after that, season after. Show them who the real G's are. Now the title is at Anfield. It should stay there. Stay there. It's not going down the East Lancs Road again. It's not going
Right.
down there, bro. You know what I mean?
Love it. But look, I have to give you props on for us because I've had you on the show plenty of times this season, and you were quite vocal in terms of not being sure about Slot due to, you think you didn't have the lack of experience and all that sort of stuff. But you did also say, if it proves me wrong, I'll put my hand in and I'll
Yeah.
be very honest about it. And look, that's big of you as well, because there's a lot of fans that are stubborn and they won't change their opinion about stuff like that.
No.
So that's
No.
big up to you as well for, being open about it as well. Because as content creators, we can be a bit like, nah, this is my opinion, I'm gonna stick to it. You've always said that,
Yeah.
you know what, if he proves me wrong, I can't say anything. He's helped
Yeah.
us win the title in his opening season. He's done it in style as well, because we didn't have high expectations of him this year. We thought
Mhm.
this is going to be that transition season where we'll see how he does. He'll settle in. He'll get used to the tactics of the English football and all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. But he's gone past that. He's won us the big trophy, and
Mhm.
look, it's an emotional one as well, because
Yeah.
when we won the
Yeah.
league title 5 years ago, we really couldn't celebrate, and it's like not even being in the stadium or anything. We couldn't go out and see our family. Like it was like a weird time for
Yeah.
all
It's
of
one of
us.
them ones.
Couldn't really like go out and celebrate. So this one,
I was
like,
in Germany. I was actually
yeah,
sorry to cut across you. Sorry to cut across you. I was actually in Germany when they won the
okay,
title. When they won the
yeah,
title, and that, I was actually in Germany because I spent 2 years out there.
yeah,
Near enough 2 years, just about one month shy of 2 years. Do you know what I mean? Out there, and I was literally out in Germany when they were sort of like when they won the title. Do you know what I mean? And then they had the celebration and so forth. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, yes, at the end of the day, it wasn't the same, but I was grateful nonetheless. You understand what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
really grateful nonetheless for us to sort of like finally win that title back after 30 years, and we done it in style then because we literally won the league in February, like late February. We won the league. Everybody knew at the day that the league's coming to Anfield and stuff. So
yeah,
it was it was so I don't know. I just felt it so much, and I felt it for the players as well. Do you know what I mean? And like, because for many of these players, that's probably the first time they're winning a title. Do you know what I mean? Likes
yeah,
of Gravenberch, likes of Gappo,
yeah,
Sabozalai. You know what I mean? And so on. I mean, even like, Kwanzaa, he got a medal. He's gonna get a medal. Do you know what I mean? Just come up from the reserves last season. Do you know what I mean? It was just for them. I felt it for them because it was like the first time they're gonna experience this, and they got
yeah.
to experience it in front. But listen,
No, yeah.
tickets were going for about £3,000.
Boy, some of
Three
the prices
thousand
are
pounds.
crazy. Yeah,
Boy, it was. Listen, man, I was just like,
yeah,
I did a watch along today, and at certain times of the day, I didn't sort of like have any viewing
yeah,
because I think people are busy watching, obviously watching the game live, and
yeah,
I didn't even care. I just carried on. Didn't even care. I didn't even care. That wasn't going to stop me. I just carried on. Do you know what I mean? It was just such a great day today. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And to know at the end of the day, well, look, we've done it with 4 games to go.
yeah.
And there's no way that Arsenal can't catch us. And you know what the Arsenal fans are saying now? They're
What I
saying
say?
if Mikel Arteta doesn't win the Champions League, he has to go. He has to
Honestly, Arsenal fans, yeah,
go.
the delusion is like it's unreal sometimes. Look, if they want to win the Champions League, look, either way, but I don't see them even getting past PSG. Like PSG, I'm not saying because they beat us, but they outplayed us in both legs. and they're playing the best football in Europe. So Arsenal, for me, like, this is the highlight of the season right now into what they're doing.
Yeah,
So for me, it's like they thought they were going to win the title. They thought they were going to walk away with it just because they were second 2 years straight. They thought it
yeah,
was like it should be awarded to him because of the progress they made. As I mentioned,
yeah.
Double D anyone, we lost the title twice on the last day. So
Mm,
just because you feel like you were so close one season, it doesn't automatically mean you will win that following season. Football doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. You have to still
mm.
work, reset, and go again. So, Arsenal fans making all sorts of excuses where if Saka was fair, we would have won the league. They haven't been top for one day this season.
Nope.
Can you believe that? And they had the cheek to say, "Oh, we're gonna win." Brighton's been at the top of the table more days than Arsenal. So you
Even
can't
Man
say things
United,
that
United have been top.
even United on top as well. So that goes to show, like, look, you can say all your narratives, you can say whatever you got. End of the day, we have been the most consistent team this season. We've only lost
Yeah,
twice against Forest and Fulham, and the Forest one we spoke about earlier on, Double D. It was
Yeah,
one of those games where I felt like you mentioned lack of experience. I think that match gave him that more experience to be like, do you know what? I'm not going to make that
yeah,
mistake
yeah,
because
yeah.
like tactically didn't get it right, and he brought on all the South American players that were on international duty and started those players who were quite tired. You can tell they were fatigued. They weren't really playing to their level.
Yeah,
So
1 second, yeah, 1 second. I'm gonna
go on.
go out and come back in because I
Yeah,
can't hear
no
you
worries, no
properly.
worries.
So I'm gonna go
Yeah,
out and come back in. Yeah, I'll
no
go on my
worries.
laptop and I'll come back in. Give me about a couple of minutes and I'll come
cool.
No
back
worries.
in. Yeah.
No worries. See you in a bit, of course. No worries. So yeah, so it goes to show, like, he Uncle Ross was right, and Uncle Ross had kind of every right to have that reservation because no one could out there and say, "Do you know what, Armstrong is the guy."
Yeah,
I still had, question marks. I know you Double D were a bit more familiar with him in terms of what he did in the
yeah,
Eredivisie, but that's two different leagues. So you've got to
exactly. There's no guarantee.
transform it
There's no guarantee.
to what you're currently doing,
And
isn't
whether
it?
it be players or manager, they haven't always transitioned well from the
No, it isn't.
Eredivisie to the Premier League. You get what I'm saying?
It's
So
not like just because you have it on paper thinking it's gonna work doesn't mean it always does. So
yeah, exactly.
I think for us, it was like, you know what? Let's see what the coach brings. Because with new coaches, they have different sort of ideologies in terms of how they want the game to be played. But I think and this is one I won't give credit to FSG. I won't give them a lot of credit, as you know, Double D, but I will
Yeah,
give them some credit this time around because they found the right guy.
yeah,
They got their data metrics in terms of like what he brings to the table,
yeah,
how sort of similar his sort of philosophy is to young club in terms of
yeah,
how they play in transitions and all that sort of stuff.
yeah, yeah,
So they made the right appointment because, like you said, Xabi Alonso was the one that I think most fans wanted, but that was
yeah.
probably down to how amazing Leverkusen were that season, and also,
Slot was the
former
only slot.
player, former
Yeah,
Reds. So thinking, we've got a connection there already. Like
yeah,
when you've got a Jurgen Klopp figure who leaves the club, you're thinking, is the next coach going to have that connection with the fans? Because that is a big point. We're one of those clubs where I think we put our managers on a pedestal. Like we
yeah,
really like treat them with the utmost respect. It's not like Chelsea or United. We don't just get rid of them just like that.
yeah,
We
yeah, yeah,
treat them with
yeah,
the
yeah.
most respect. They have all the time in the world to be successful.
Yep.
And we've always treated our managers. That's what our history shows us. So whoever comes in has to be that figure, that leader that we need in the dressing room, not
Yep.
just from a playing field, but from an offside, so off field as well. So
Yep.
it was always going to be a season where we're like, "Do you know what? Let's see what he brings to the table, and let's see how he understands." Because I'm sure you remember when we had Rafa Benitez when he came, it took him a while to figure out how to play the English game because his tactics was so different to how it was in La Liga. Like it wasn't a smooth transition for him. I
Yeah.
remember us losing to like West Brom and like teams like that. We're thinking we should be
Yeah.
flashing these teams, but it took him time to kind of understand that. But Slot, he's come in. He's got that philosophy where it's calm and measured football, but ferocious in that counter attack, and that's what's literally got us to one side from other teams in this league. So I feel like that's been pivotal. But as Uncle Ross mentioned earlier on, let me bring on the screen as well. As Uncle Ross mentioned as well, I think you're right. Like he didn't have the experience when he first joined, but
Yeah.
this season alone, I feel like he's done a crash course. He's fully experienced now. So for him, he can go onwards and upwards and really achieve big things at the club. So for me, I think the future's bright. I think this is just level one. This
Yeah,
fans think that, you know, fans are always going to talk rubbish about us. Let's be honest. But I feel like fans thinking this is the maximum. This is the ceiling we've touched. We're not even there. We're still on the ground. We've
That's
got a
what I'm
lot of
saying.
levels to reach.
If we get in the players in the if
Yeah.
as we were saying earlier before Rod was on,
Yeah.
if we get that 10, we need another midfielder that you can trust, right? But
yeah.
so we can rotate more. If we get the 10
Yeah.
and we get the 9, this league is cooked.
We
The
won the
league is
league without a
cooked.
real striker. Great
The
boy.
league is cooked, bro.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
It's finished. Look what we've done. We've lost 2 games, and because obviously we do the social media thing, and I know Rod will do it on his channel as well, we'll reaction after each game. So because we have to do it, we've got to flood it with new material. So we've only lost 2 matches, and we've had so much to say after each. Even the wins will be like, oh, here, like even we beat Palace. We beat Palace early in the season 1-0. In the first half, we're going to kill them. In the second half, we just about hang on. You get what I'm saying? With him having more pieces that he can trust, because there's only about 16 men out of this squad. When probably that, I'd probably say 14. Outside of the main 11, it's Jones and Bradley, but Bradley only plays when Trent's not there. And that's about it. Because Endo, he doesn't look as a starter to close. So once he has more people that he can trust and will rotate more, the league could be cooked, bro.
Yeah, I reckon he should go. I reckon he should go. Listen, I said it the day. If he gets that guy, that youth there from Bournemouth, there's 2 kids from Bournemouth. Yeah, Kirkes and
Hoyson.
Hoyson, yeah, Hoyson, because he's Dutch, like a Dutch Spanish guy. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They can get on. They can get on. If he gets them 2, and listen, I would say to him, go and get Varela. Go and get Varela from Porto.
We've been speaking of Varela for a long time.
I'm telling you, because that's a midfielder that you need. And then plus, at the day, his link up with McAllister to me, mad. It'll be mad with McAllister. Trust me. And then he can rotate. Yeah. As I said, you go and get another 10. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would go and get that Ryan Shirky for Leon. Yeah. I think he's nice.
He's
you know.
cold.
I think he's nice. And the thing is about it, you give Leon 40 million, you're getting him.
Rods, it won't even be that much, bruv. It won't even be that much. He almost went to Fulham and Dortmund in the summer for 20 million. It won't even be 40 million.
So he rejected those moves. So the Fulham was the closest one. He said, I'm not going Fulham. So I think he's got a clause with that 20-25 million.
Yeah, but it's no way. They don't even need to pay that much. You
see the goal he scored against Man United the other day?
Yeah.
All right. You get him, yeah, and you go and get a 9 as well. You get a 9, and if you can keep the core players that you've got, because I don't think, like, apart from like Darwin Núñez, right. Obviously, he's been given his time at Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? No disrespect, but he has been given his time. Do you know what I mean? And so, like, it's not as if he's been there one season. We said, like, right on your bike, We've given him 3 seasons. This is his first season, and he's still not up to what we need. Personally, as I said to you before, I think if he goes to Italy, goes to Spain, or goes back to Portugal, he's cooking. Or even a Germany, I think he'll cook. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's his sort of game. I think the Premiership is too fast and physical for him. I just think, you know what I mean? And he tends to panic when he gets in front of the goal. He tends to panic.
That moment with Salah today, where he didn't know if he wanted to shoot or pass, like he doesn't have a clear mind frame. Like, and that's what separates him from the best.
And all he had to do, really, with that pass today, he didn't need to put so much on it. Do you know what I mean? It's a little dink, and Salah was in. Do you know what I mean? And then you talk about 6-1.
Let's be honest.
And then later on, when he should have passed the ball, he tried to shoot from the edge of the box. There were 2 men open, and then he tried to shoot.
It's because his mind works like that. Like, for example, if he knows he's made a mistake, that would be stuck in his mind. And then when he gets that moment again, he's going to do what he thought he should have done the first time around, if that makes sense. All the big strikers, and we've watched a lot of football over the years, when they miss a chance, they don't think about that chance ever again. They'll be like, you know what? When I get the next one, I'm gonna
put it
analyze the situation and take it from there. And that's what the strikers are about. They don't think about their past mistakes. After the game, you can assess it and do all of that stuff. When you miss one, that's fine. I want to get another one. That's a sign of a top striker, and
Yeah,
he's not that level. When
yeah,
he was still thinking, "Oh, maybe I should have shot," and
yeah.
he's on the right side of the box. He's scoring from that angle. You had two defenders in front of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You know, so defender. So that shows to me that was Darwin Núñez in a nutshell. Those two moments today was him in a nutshell.
Yeah,
He's not decisive enough in front of goal.
yeah,
He doesn't know when to pass or shoot. The
yeah,
first one, I think that pass was easy. It was literally he just had to
yeah,
pass it to him.
yeah,
Just a little dink across,
Yeah,
little dink,
yeah,
and he was
over
in.
hit, over hit the pass. Even
You
when
know what it
he's
is about
over him.
it? Because of what is it today, right? Unlike in Spain, he was in Spain at Almeria and he was at
Yeah,
Portugal with
yeah,
Benfica, right? When he was sort of like scoring goals there and he's in front of goal, he had enough time to think to
yeah,
think what he was doing, yeah? Because
mm,
that's the way the league goes, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Remember the day, he's like when you look at Spanish La Liga, it's a bit like Italian Serie A, but a bit more faster. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's all about technique. You know what I mean? It's all
yeah,
about technique. Now with the Premiership and it's physical. It's
mm,
physical. We're gonna press you. We're gonna
yeah,
take the ball off you, and we're gonna slam it in the back of the net. It's
yeah.
really physical and fast. His brain don't work like that. So
No,
what happens?
he's not instinctive enough to do that,
No, it's
and
not.
that's what you have to be.
Yeah. So what happens when he gets in front of goal or gets near goal in the net? More often than enough, he's gonna make the wrong decisions.
Yeah,
Do you feel me? He's gonna make the wrong decisions.
yeah,
Now, if you go, brother, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You go and get that Hoyson, and you go and get Kirkes, you get a Varela, yeah,
yeah,
right, and you get that number 10 Ryan Shirky, right. Then you go to Atletico Madrid and you buy Alvarez, bruv. Yeah, you go and buy Alvarez. It's
yeah,
over, blood. It's over.
yeah,
Oh, let me tell you, it's over. And the thing is about it, right? Remember, Liverpool's starting to earn 177 million on a Premiership alone. Yeah, for like TV rights and this and that, and actually winning the Premier League and so forth. Yeah, they're gonna get 177 million from that. Now that's excluding what they're gonna get for the Champions League. You know, they still got
yeah,
the Champions League money to come as well.
yeah.
So when you look at it, they could have well over 200 million to spend in the transfer market.
No
Plus,
self-supply needed. You got the
plus,
money there.
that's what I'm saying. Plus as well.
Mm,
Remember they still got that money for last season. Excuse me, they still got that money for last season when they never bought
yeah,
anybody. So they can well go. They can well seriously. They can go to Atletico Madrid, give them 90 million euros, right, for
mm,
Alvarez, and not break FFP. Everything will be off our board. They can go and snatch it. And remember,
yeah,
if we were to sort of listen to rumors, yeah, apparently Alvarez is not happy at Atletico Madrid. Apparently he's not
okay.
happy there. Do you know what I mean? He's coming out that he's not happy there. So these are the right times to strike. What, coming to a team that's just won the Premier League?
Do you know the
Come
only
on,
concern
man.
with Alvarez though? The only
Huh?
concern I have is not from a football point of view. Apparently, his missus don't like living in London. I mean,
Yeah.
so in England,
Oh,
sorry,
so they
because of
wanted
the
to
weather.
Oh,
move to
okay.
a
Okay.
Spanish-speaking
So I'm
country. Yeah,
hoping this
definitely.
anymore where the missus is like, yeah, I don't want to go back to England. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping it's not that, because unfortunately that does
Yeah.
happen with that sort of
But
case. But oh,
you still got the likes at the end of the day of like the South American community,
yes, and you
which
know who
like
his best mate is? In
yeah,
Palestine. They're best mates.
exactly.
yeah,
You got Allison, yeah, right.
Yeah,
That speaks four Portuguese, his first language, and he speaks Spanish, right?
yeah,
Then you got Luis Diaz there, the Colombian,
yeah,
Spanish. Then you got sort of like then you have the international teammate, yeah,
yeah.
McAllister.
Spanish stuff.
And if Varela comes and everything that's even more better.
hey,
Who's not going to go and come to Liverpool,
you
bro?
got a little Argentina and Liverpool right there.
Right, okay. Say less. You know what I mean? So the
Uh,
thing is, you got what is it there? When you go to them get those players, and I know you both agree. When you go to get those players in there, you have to give them a good project, a good selling point. You have to sell your club to them, sell the city to them, because many of people at the end of the day, whether they're South American or they're
yeah,
European or whatever, once they come to Liverpool, in fact, that's it. They fall in love straight away. Do you ever see
yeah.
that lesson years ago? Years ago, right? Do you remember a player called Maxi Rodriguez? that we
Of,
didn't.
of course, man. Of
You're
course.
right. Do you remember that? Do you remember when he left? Do you remember the letter that he wrote to
Yeah, I do
Liverpool?
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Do you remember? Do you remember how heartfelt it was and passionate it was? How much he loved the city, how much he loved the club, and rare tear
Yeah.
tear. Do you understand what I'm saying? Half of the
Mm.
reason why Klopp stayed at Liverpool Football Club, right? After all the shit that he was getting, half the reason was because he loved the city.
Yeah.
He loved the city. His wife built back in, put back in the boot room. Listen, so Alvarez, go
I
and
would
get us.
love Alvarez, honestly. I think for me, the two is Alvarez, but if you're looking from a all-round perspective, Alvarez ticks all the boxes for me
Yeah,
because Alvarez is coming to 9.5 where in front of goal, he's lethal. Like he's a killer in front of goal. Like he can do the other way, he can link up play as well, got good passing range on him, but he can also play on the wings. If we need to put him out there to open up a different team. But
yeah,
he
yeah.
gives you options and he attacks the channels as well. So he's a multi-dimensional striker, and that's the kind of one that the fans are unsure. Does Arsenal want a false nine or does he want a number 9?
It's the
But you
thing.
got both of that in one player in Julian Alvarez. He ticks all the boxes.
Yeah. He
So
can
he
play
would be
well
the
along the
one.
along the front three, and you know
Yeah.
what isn't
Even
there?
number 10, he can play as a
He
number
can play.
10.
Yeah,
He can play 10. He can play
yeah,
10.
he can literally play as a 10. He's just, do you know what I mean? So even if you didn't want to get Ryan Shirky, right, you could have
Yeah.
sort of like you can like go
That's
and buy
a play right
Alvarez,
wing.
play him as a 10, and
Yeah.
play sort of like Diaz up front. Just
Yeah.
imagine Diaz and Alvarez up front, bro,
Yeah.
with
So
Salah on the wing.
you've got options
And
there. Yeah.
it's finished, blood. You know,
Yeah, yeah, we've since slightly. We've got the lot. You know what I mean?
you know what you say? Do you know what you say it today, right?
Mm.
At the beginning of the season, say, look, here what, we're not even gonna play, just give us a title, bro. You know how it's gonna turn out. You know how it's gonna turn
By
out.
default, just give us a title.
Yeah, do you really want to do it then? Do you really want to do this thing then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just come out before we go on the pitch. Do you want us to do this thing?
Oh, that's facts. Listen,
Yeah,
I
right.
feel like this season, I don't want to sound dramatic, but I honestly feel like it can make or break Liverpool's future because I think this is the season where we have to invest. And I'm not saying the club needs to invest millions and millions of pounds every window. If we get the positions that you mentioned, because I feel like the positions you mentioned are the areas that need strengthening. So if we get the top talent that we all know on paper would make sense, then we don't need to spend in the upcoming windows.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah,
the complete squad, and that's something we've lacked over the years, where we have to sell players to try and sign certain players, but then we've got gaps in the squad. You haven't got the strength in depth, or you haven't got certain numbers for certain positions. If you can address it this year, where right now I feel like we've got a good core, so all we need to do is just add those finishing touches to really upgrade
yeah,
what we have right now. And once we have that, we can literally challenge for all the titles, like we have done this year. But I feel like what we felt short this season was the fact that Arnold Slot doesn't trust the whole squad. He
Like,
trusted probably about 15, 16, 18 players.
yeah,
Aside from that, he doesn't trust the rest of the squad. So I want it to be where this summer they address that and get him the players that he wants. So he can rotate them. The way Pep Guardiola rotates left, right, and center.
yeah,
If we did that with a 25-man squad, that's all talents, we're laughing. We really are because we don't need to play Salah every game. We don't need to play Van. We don't need to play him all the time because we
exactly.
have to
yeah,
manage it. Like Robertson, for example, whether he stays or not is another question. But if he does stay, he won't be required to play week in week out. If we're going to sign Turkers, for example, we can rest him for the big games, and then that experience will be vital for us to get over the line. So for
Yeah,
me, they really have to invest. And like you mentioned for us, we're gonna win, we're gonna gain so much money from this league title alone. There's other competition and other commercial rights and other TV stuff that we haven't even
yeah,
talked about.
yeah.
There's a
yeah.
lot of money coming to the bank. So for us, this is the season where we actually
Got no excuse,
go
have we?
all out. And we're not gonna be a team that wins one league every 5 years. I don't want to be that team. Like you said on Cross,
No.
I want to win every year.
Compete
I want us
every
to win
season.
titles every
Yeah,
year. This
I
will put
want,
us in such
I
a
want that
high
today.
position.
I want that. What we had today. I
Yeah,
want that next
all of
season.
them. Yeah,
Yeah. I said to my brother today, my little brother today, we was talking. I said I've done two minimums. Yeah. right? The bare minimum for next season, yeah, is you get a trophy. If it's a League Cup,
Yeah,
FA
facts.
Cup, Champions League or League, right? The
Mm.
minimum now is the league. The minimum is the league. You have to retain the league. If all else fails, yeah, you
Yeah,
have to retain the league. By that, your bare minimum is to come out with a trophy
of
next season.
course.
You
Well,
have to
how
be
does it
coming out
look
with a
though?
trophy.
You can't just say, "Oh, we're gonna win the league," and then be like, "That's it."
Yeah, you
You're gonna
have to.
keep on with that
You
every
have
year.
to. And the thing is about it, right? Klopp, Slot needs to speak up. If they're not, if he sees that the hierarchy are not doing it right, he needs to speak
Mm.
up and say, "Look, I can't do this." Because remember, at the day,
Mm.
he's still in contact. Slot's still in contact with Klopp. They
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah,
And he said they
yeah,
talk all the time on WhatsApp and everything.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
Slot's probably telling him at the day, "You know what, brother? Because if I were you, I'd do it like this way and I'd do it that way."
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm sure, I am very sure that Slot is asking Klopp for advice
Of
on how to
course.
do this and how to manage certain players and this and that.
Yeah.
They're still talking. You know what I mean? You know, because he even said today, he goes like, for what he done for me, that introduced me to the crowd,
Yeah.
to the club and this and
Yeah.
that, right? It shows how much of a remarkable human being he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that shows me that they're still in contact.
Yeah.
But the thing is about it, what it is with us in the day, right? The point is, we don't need to spend millions and millions and millions.
So,
We
No.
just need to get it right. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? We
yeah.
just need to get it right. We just need to buy the players, because personally, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I feel in the day that Trent's changed his mind. I feel he's changed his
Well,
mind.
Roz, I was about to ask you that question because me and Double D spoke about it.
At the
So
start.
you think he's changed his mind? Because I think he has.
I
Based
think
on what he saw today, like body language, demeanor, the way you're celebrating, like that doesn't mean like a player that's leaving. Because when you see players in their head mentally saying that they're going to leave the club, they're like emotional, like you see a different side to them.
yeah,
Today, I felt like he felt so proud. I didn't get the kind of impression that he's leaving. I feel like he's to stay, but let me know what you think.
I think you know what it is at the day. I think what he's done in the last week or so, he's looked at Real Madrid, yeah,
Yeah,
and he's thinking that today there's some uncertainty there, right?
yeah,
And as sort of like Emmanuel Petit put this tweet, I think it was a tweet or message post out. He was saying to Trent should stay at the club because it's like he won't be a legend like he is at Liverpool in Real Madrid.
facts.
He
Yeah,
goes,
very
all it
true.
takes, yeah, he goes, all it takes in the day is 1 or 2 bad games in the day, right? And they'll get on him. He won't get
Yeah,
or he won't get the legend status at the end of the day at sort of like at Real Madrid. Yeah. Because you might as well stay at Liverpool, right?
yeah,
Where you're about to win the Premiership and try and win some more with them. Do you know what I mean? You know, you might as
yeah,
well stay where you are. And I think at now he's looking at sort of like Real Madrid, and he's looking at the fact that at the end of the day, right? They lost out in the Champions League. They lost
yeah,
out last night to Barcelona. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Right? They lost to there, right? He doesn't know it, and Dave Ancelotti's going to be there next season, right?
yeah.
He don't know that. So really and truly, yes, say Ancelotti is not there next season. He goes there, right? And the manager that is there don't like him and don't play him. These are all things that he's got to think about. Now, really and truly, he can stay at sort of like he can stay at Liverpool, and he knows that he's guaranteed to be played every week. He'll rotate with Bradley, yeah, but he's guaranteed to play every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And he's probably stands more of a chance today of winning things with Liverpool than what he does with Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? At this present time, because this
yeah.
is a guy in the day, right? Before the age of 24, he's won everything.
He's won the lot.
Imagine that. Before the age of 24, he's already won the league, right?
Mm.
Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, bloody the World Cup. He's won
Yeah,
everything. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think at the day, judging from what I can see from Trent, this is a feeling that I'm getting. Even today, when sort of like um, when Virgil said, "Go on, man, go and celebrate with the crowd," and he went over and celebrate with the crowd. He done it twice. Yeah. it doesn't look like to me and Dave that sort of like it's a guy that made his mind up to go. I think I mean, we could be wrong, but I feel he's going to stay. I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to change his mind. So don't be surprised in the next week or so, right? That something comes out to say that Trent is decided to stay, and he's staying. Because look at today. Look at that today. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You're not getting that at Real Madrid. I'm telling you, fam. You are not
He
getting.
won't get that love and respect at Real Madrid. He won't.
Listen, you can't look at it. You can't.
No.
So what I said to my brother today, why would you want to leave this?
That's
Why?
true.
Why would you want to leave this? Look at all this. Why would you want to leave that to go overseas and then no. I think I'm hoping it, but I've got a strong feeling that day that he's gonna stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had that feeling watching the game today as well. But hopefully we'll get some answers in the coming weeks or so. Just gonna go through some of the comments.
Yeah.
Dara, he says we need Stiller. So this Stiller from who's he playing with Stuttgart in the Bundesliga. I've seen bits of him. Do you guys know of him? Are you aware of him? What do you make of him as a possible signing for Liverpool?
I haven't, to be honest.
Hmm.
Me, I don't know what my brethren thing is, the next brethren over here, but I haven't really seen enough of him to make a valid opinion to say, well, look, whether he's good, whether he's bad, or whether he suit Liverpool, or whether he doesn't. I haven't really seen a lot about him. I heard about this guy.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen it like other than people like Hoyson and Hato and Kirk and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I haven't really seen enough of it, so I can't really.
No, that's fair.
If
Have you seen much of him?
He looks good, yeah. Well, when I've watched some Stuttgart games, I've seen him, and he's generally looked good in the games. I'm not sure he's the be all end all, like how when I listen to some Liverpool content. But no, he looks good. Defo, I'd be pleased with the signing, but I'm more on in terms of centre mid. I want someone combative because to challenge Gravenberch for it. So I'm like Belieber at Brighton or something like that. But then,
I agree.
They might try to extort us. So the thing about Belieber,
see his goal the other
obviously
day?
he scored on the weekend, is that he's always willing to have a shot. He's always willing to have a pop from long range as well. And I think that's one of the few things that are missing from the squad. Shooting more, because sometimes when Rod's you get what I'm saying, bruv. So I'm more like on a like a Belieber type.
No,
I'd be happy with Stiller, but like I'm content, so it's Stiller.
No, believe it, I'll pay a change for him. I'll go and buy him because the way he done that thing yesterday, he's like he got the ball, he looked, and he knew exactly where he was gonna put it. Yeah,
beautiful.
And from outside, remember he's outside the area.
Yeah,
so it's very hard for him to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's been coming. It's been coming. Rods, it's been coming. There's so many Brighton games this season where he's smashing shots and it's going side netting or just over or keeper scrapping across his coming. I think just someone like that. You get what I'm saying? Like even Chelsea played the other day and I was watching Lavia and I was like, it doesn't matter because we've won the league and Gravenberch has done these things. But I'm just saying, just some variation because I'm one of them people and I've always said it from months ago. I said it on there first years ago, like to us. I want variation with the players. So obviously, if you've got a left back like a Robertson or a Zimikas, then I want a Night Nuri who will get goals and can dribble as the backup. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I said on here time ago, and I've seen it. I'm not even going to mention names, but I've seen it bitten on so many different things, whether it be little things or whatever. A couple of months ago, what did I say to us? I said that if you're going to get I don't know exactly what slot necessarily wants from the 9. So I said if you're going to go out and you're going to get a Cunha or that type of player that can link the play up as well, right? Yeah. Then as your backup, go get someone physical that will ragdoll defenders, get the lap. And now every time someone's talking about strikers, and that was only as a backup though, not to lead the line. Now I'm hearing the lap to Liverpool on all these different things when man said on here time ago, you get what I'm saying? When it's what it is, you get me? I want variation in the position. So obviously Cherky can play 10. They were calling him because he got into Leon's first team when he was 16.
16, 17, yeah.
He's been heavily inconsistent, but someone
Yeah.
like Slot ironed that out. And then when you get them special moments, because you put him in the 10, you're going to get higher GA. You get what I'm saying to me? So, and obviously he can play off the right as well, and then cut into his left foot. So you have that there. Then away games, you can put side there for the work rate and just the different things. And then this new Champions League format, although we topped the group, I didn't like. Then mix it about with Prem and whatnot. Breeze longevity will be challenging on all fronts again. You get what I'm saying? So
But his technique is insane. Because
Now
his both foot is
he's
right,
a
but the
baller.
way he uses both foot,
He's
like
a
he'll be on the
baller.
left side corner using left foot. He'll be on the right side using his right
Yeah,
foot.
yeah,
And in
yeah.
penalties, he'll confuse the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper thinks he's gonna kick him his left, but he ends up doing him his right.
I
Like, he's an
can't remember who it
insane
was.
talent, honestly.
I can't remember who it was because obviously, because we do European pod sometimes, but French
Yeah.
league always gets left like to the end, or we can't fit it in. But a couple of months ago, he comes off the right. It was to win the game, and he cuts in on his left foot, and he just bends it into the far corner. I'm like, this guy.
He's
you know what I'm
got to be the number one target, honestly.
He's cold, and the thing is about it, because he's so versatile. Along the front four. You must say the front four, really. Do you know what I mean? Because you can play left, right, center, and 10. Do you know what I mean? So because versatile, what you're saying is right. You cannot get the same kind of player as you've got. You have to get a different player that can bring more to the team. That's what I'm trying to say. Sort of like, even so that we've got Varela. Do you know what I mean? He can be the actual 6. You know what I mean? And then sort of like Ryan Gravenberch. If he plays Ryan Gravenberch, Ryan Gravenberch can be that ball carrying 6. You know what I mean? That will go more forward.
More forward. Yeah.
Like he does now. But then you got somebody that's sitting at the spine and they mopping up. Remember what we had? And then when we had sort of like we had Momo Sissoko, we had Zabi Alonso, Mascherano. You had Gerrard at the top playing a 10. You know what I mean? Alonso was a playmaker. Do you know what I mean? Mascherano was like the holding one. But then you had that man, Sissoko, that was like a dark heart.
When we kept on getting Chelsea in our group in Champions League, we just stuck Sissoko on Lampard. Lampard couldn't do nothing because Lampard can't beat him, man. Lampard can't beat him, man. That's why all them games used to finish flipping 0-0 and send you to sleep because we cancelled each other out. You get what I'm saying? It's just a shame that Sissoko, something happened to his vision, isn't it? That
he had
to finish early or whatever because that guy was cold. He was cold. You're skinny chopping in the midfield.
That was a game against Benfica in the Champions League. And kicked in the eye. He nearly lost his eyesight, you know.
Yeah.
I know.
Eyesight. And, he was never the same after that, was he? He was never the same after that.
That Benfica game broke me, you know, because obviously because we just won champs, I thought that we was gonna go back to back, and then flipping it was that Italian brother Micheli and Samau, and Samau was meant to come to Liverpool.
Yeah,
they fucked us up at Anfield, but I was so vexed.
He's cold as well. Remember I was saying that because at that time you had the likes of Ronaldo. Do you remember a guy called Ricardo Quaresma? Remember Quaresma?
Quaresma was one of my favourite footballers.
He has Samau, and apparently at that present time, Samau was supposed to be the better out of the 3, you know.
He was more efficient on the ball. He had goals and assists was like high. He was really good.
Marcel Broza was an outrageous footballer. You know what I'm saying? Samau was outrageous, bro. He was cold, bro. You know what I'm saying? But bear what might have been, bro. You get me? Bear what with us. But I can't even. Obviously, we lift a trophy and everything there, but like at the start of the season, I honestly didn't believe. I had no, like before we last won it, you sat there and you thought if we could just iron this out, not draw as much, do this, win the important games. But the main thing was beat City. So we beat City 3-1 early on in that season. We thought we could do this. Even before this season started, even with the clean sheets at the start, I was thinking, third is the best. And as it went on, it's like, this is like. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy, but I was not expecting it. So it feels like it's like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
It got to a certain part of the season. He thought, "So, yo, we can do this, you know."
That's what I'm saying. And it felt good. It felt good. It was
Yeah,
like, well, we
do this,
can
blood.
win the league. And you felt good because you were thinking, even if we were to drop off, there will be some that will say we bottled it, but we weren't expected to do it. And I think that the players got into that sort of working it, and then and to think how long ago this could have been wrapped up. The 3-3 draw with Newcastle, last minute goal. 2-2 draw with Everton, last minute goal. You get what I'm
Aston
saying?
Villa.
This
Aston
thing
Villa.
could have been
Yeah,
done.
so no.
Look at this thing could have been done. Look at the chance Jota missed against flipping Villa, bruv, in their away game.
Speaking of Jota, Dara says that he was anonymous today, but obviously
Oh my
he came to the
days.
bench and so wasn't going to do much. But in terms of Stiller, we were talking about Stiller earlier on.
Yeah.
Dara says that he's an outstanding number 6.
Mm.
He says he's better than Gravenberch, which I'm not too sure. But I haven't seen a lot of Stiller. I've seen him bits and bobs of him. He looks decent to me, but the talent really double D. I don't think he's the guy that we should like really go all out for. Like he's a good, I think he'd be a good addition to the squad. But
Yeah.
I kind of want someone that would kind of be like a mainstay in our team, like someone that will really challenge Gravenberch and McAllister.
Yeah.
Someone like you mentioned, Varela, a player that can complement the two. So it doesn't matter which two play, but all three of them kind of rotate and then fit well together. So for me, that's the kind of player I believe I would be phenomenal. There's another player that I quite like is Lamine Kamara, who plays for Monaco. So if you
Okay.
haven't seen him, check him out.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
good. Like he's kind of like a Gravenberch where he's a box to box, he's an 8, but he can play at number 6 role quite well. But
Yeah.
because he's so energetic as well, like he just covers a lot of ground. So I feel like that's someone that will give us a different kind of output where he's more physical, more
Yeah.
energetic, and that's what we need, a different variation on midfield. I feel like there's been a lot of games this year where I think Newcastle Carabao final was quite evident of that. We were getting out
Yeah.
muscled a
Physically.
lot of
Yeah.
times.
Physically. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we need someone that's going to be dynamic, but also strong in the tackles and an imposing figure to the opposition because we lack that at times, I think. So these are areas I feel like we need to kind of like clarify in this window because I think if we get 1 or 2 players like that, we'll have
That's
a
why.
complete midfield.
That's why I like that guy. Like that guy. Obviously, not many people rate him. Like now he's come to the Premiership, but I still rate him. It's Ugarte. That's why I rate Ugarte because Ugarte is that no nonsense sort of like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No nonsense DM, and then he's gonna go through you. He's just gonna go through, and I think the difference is with Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch is that original 6. Yeah, because this is what original 6s used to do back in the day. They get the ball from you and they carry it forward.
Yeah.
They carry it forward in the day and start an attack. They then lay it off, or if they had a chance in the day, they will like take a shot. That's what they used to do back in the day. Then it got changed. It got changed to the fact it's like when you had a DM, they held their position in there and just mopped up.
Yeah.
But that was original job of a 6 back in the day. Because if you go back and look at in the 70s and early 80s, and you look at sort of like Graham Souness, and you look at what he used to do. He used to get the ball in the day. He will get the ball for you, and he'll drive forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll have a go himself, or lay it off to whoever was the attacker at that time. Do you know what I mean? That's what it was. That's why that Arne Slot likes Ryan Gravenberch so much.
Yeah.
Because he does that job that sort of like that needs to be done. He'll get the ball and he just drive forward.
And that's how Thing plays, and the Ranger pass as well. That's how Zubomendi plays, which is why they were going up to get them. He wants the man so he can create the box midfield to be able to take the ball off of the centre half, carry it, and then open it up to allow everyone to get in their positions and organise themselves going forward. You get what I'm saying? So, but
if you got a Varela in your team, which is like plays different as going back to what you said, earlier on, that plays different. Do you know what I mean? To sort of like Ryan Gravenberch, where he's going to hold his position. He can just like get the ball. Varela can get the ball. So like he's playing with with Gravenberch, like him and Gravenberch. He can get the ball. Do you know what I mean? And pass it off to sort of like Ryan Gravenberch, and Ryan Gravenberch can run forward and start an attack. Do you know what I mean? He can do that. You understand what I'm saying? Or today you can have a very. This is what it is about getting Varela in your team, right? McAllister pays a 10 and then day for sort of like Argentina. When he plays Argentina, he pays more further forward as a 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can even change it up certain games and say like, right, you know what we're gonna have? I'm gonna have like, Ryan Gravenberch. I'm gonna have Vrela in midfield, yeah, doing that midfield thing, and I'm gonna have sort of like McAllister further forward. And you know what he's like when he gets the ball and he sees that goal, he's gonna take a shot. And
Yeah.
more time at times he's gonna score because that goal he scored today was cold. It's too cold, bro. So you know what I mean? It's just like what you said at the day is 100% facts at the day. If you got a player, right, that's got a different variety as a next man,
Yeah.
there's more you can do on the ball. There's more you can do at the day with your team.
Yeah.
Your team at the day changes now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It changes now, and you start swapping people around and putting them in different positions, and then what they used to playing with their country or what they used to playing with a club before them.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just I just want Liverpool this season, and in the transfer window, when the transfer window comes, I just want them to sort of like just get the right players,
Yeah.
plug all the holes that need to be plugged in from that, right?
Yeah.
And let's have it for next season, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go and get 21.
I think they've already, with the fact of Richard Hughes, who me and Ozzy's best friend, being there today. I think Rods, I think that they have already got a transfer that is going to even be, obviously they won't join until obviously the window opens again, but I think that they've already signed somebody.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Who
And
do
it's
you
going to
think-
get
who
and
do
it's
you
going to,
think-
and it's going to get announced before the end of the month, or probably the week after the title. I don't know what position he's going to be in, but I think that there's someone
be sound like
or not
ITK.
bought already,
Hang on.
not bought already, or necessarily bought already, but like they're close to getting somebody because they've
A
come.
bit like McAllister.
all
What?
within the- all within- all
Or
within
like
the
last
same
time we bought
building.
him all those years ago. That was announced in April, I think, before the season concluded. So
It'd be all within the
it could be in the
we
cards.
we've spoken to Osherman. What's his face said it. Schuster Kong came on Talksport about 3-4 weeks ago, and he said it that we've spoken to Osherman. So obviously we've really shown interest there that if we was able to sell
Goodness.
Nunes to bring someone in, but it sounds as though Osherman, because he's a Chelsea fan, is waiting for them. So I think that's
Is he
made
a
us
Chelsea fan?
reluctant to go through. Yeah, he's a Chelsea fan because of Mikel, innit? Because of John Obi Mikel, his costumes for when he was
I
younger.
said nothing all
and
over again.
he was at Chelsea, right? So
Yeah,
it sounds like he's holding out for them, which I think has deterred us because we're thinking that, like, if you've got your heart set on us, agree or whatever straight away. So that probably cancels him out of it. But I think that there's a signing done. I think it's gonna be an active summer. I just hope the players that I really want to
Would
stay.
you guys
Like,
take
half
Osimhen?
a year,
Would he be the one that you'd be pleased about if he was to walk through the
he'd
door?
be a more polished Nunes because he's not a finisher of like Alvarez quality or anything like that. But he's chaos. He's very good in the air. He's fast, and he'd thrive playing with someone like Gakpo. Can you imagine Gakpo cutting off with the left and pinging them once towards the back post? Osherman will have a flipping field day. You get what I'm saying? I mean, so yeah, but in terms of finisher,
Look at his more goals there.
oh, he'll score more goals than Nunes, yeah. He'll score more goals than Nunes, but in terms of like finishers out there, he's not like the dream's Isak, isn't it? But the price that will be on him, and if Newcastle get into the Champions League as well, which looks like it's definitely going to happen, with it being top 5 to get the Champions League now, that they bought him for 60. You're talking at least 120 M's. I can't see the board doing that. However, they could sell Nunes for.
You know what the thing is about it, right? I'll be honest with you. I'll more want Alvarez than Isak. Do you know what I mean? I more want it because Isak is good. Don't get me wrong, but he's also injury prone as well. That's one thing you got to worry about is being injury prone as well.
Yeah.
And I think Alvarez is a more better all-round player than Isak. You know what I mean? Because Isak, you put him in one position and there he thrives. Yeah. Alvarez, and you can put him in any position along the front four as it is in the day, and he's cooking. He is cooking. He's a he's probably a better version than Ryan Shirky. He's probably, you know what I mean.
Mm.
I know Ryan Shirky is cold, but he's probably a better version than Ryan Shirky.
Alvarez is a killer in front of goal though. Like he's got that. I'm not gonna say quite like him, but you know, like Aguero used to get those kind of goals 1-on-1. I feel like Alvarez can get those kind of finishes as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
he's
definitely. Look how
he's a,
many
he's a
goals he's
proper
got.
gunman. Like he
He's
was
got
in his
like
Argentine
28.
days as
He's got
well.
like 28 this season in all comps for Atletico, and because he played in the Olympics, he didn't even start the season,
Yeah.
and he's pushing 30 goals. But Isak can do that. To be fair, he can play off the left and the right. He was doing that for Social as well, and even for Sweden, Jokeres is that that right striker. Isak plays like this, like in a U
He
shape
takes the
behind
channels.
him.
Yeah.
Behind him like that. So Isak can do all that. And that was what
Yeah.
some people didn't actually realize, that he could play even when he was at Sociedad, he would play off, not necessarily as out or that right, because Fig was there for a bit when he was there. He's at Atleti now. The boy that was at Palace. What's his name, man?
Matheson?
Solo.
Saying
Solo, he was playing off him when they were together at Sociedad. So
Oh, okay.
Isak could do all that. But you in the nine in terms of and he can link. He's dribbling Isak cold, and he can link the play up as well. Link some of the balls that he plays, but then man like Jacob Murphy and them man will miss the chances. You get me? But you get what I'm saying. So yeah, either or. But Alvarez, if it is a case where I don't know, I haven't heard myself that he's unhappy there, but I don't know if he'd be willing to come back to England because he's gone Atleti and out and out, right? But I'd take him all day.
I think either or is probably the best way of looking at it, because I would be pleased with either of the strikers. I think
Yeah,
they're literally creme de la creme in terms of in European football. I don't think there's a lot of good strikers out there. I think it's a market where, you know, if you want a top striker, you really have to spend big.
yeah,
And you know, if you look at the league, like there's not many options. And my concern for next season is that if you were to sign an Isak, and Uncle Rose does make a fair point in terms of his history, he does pick up a few injuries
injuries.
here and
Yeah,
there. I wouldn't feel confident going into next season with Isak and Jota, because Jota for me, as
yeah,
great as he is, he's
the injuries.
very injury
Yeah,
prone. So for me,
yeah,
it needs to be addressed where, you know, it might have to be a thing where Jota leaves as well,
yeah,
because you know, next season, I don't want it to be where we're relying on one person to be the spearhead of the team. Like the goals have to come across the team, in my opinion. So
yeah,
everyone has to chip in. And if you've got Jota out of the equation, then you know, Luis Diaz, fair play to him. You know, he's played well. He played up front today as well. But I don't want him playing up front all the time, if that makes sense. Like it can be in
yeah,
certain games, in certain situations. I want it to be where I've got two strikers fighting for the same spot. I want it to that's healthy competition in the squad,
yeah,
and that's what you need
yeah,
if you want to win major honors. So for me, you know, as great as a finisher Jota is, I think the injuries have taken its toll on his body now. I don't
yeah,
think he's going to, you know, remain fit for long periods of time, and that's a concern for a team like Liverpool. Like if he was the third choice, you know, in the reserve somewhere, you're not really too fast. But obviously, this is Liverpool. We're not going to have a player of his quality and you know the amount of money he earns as well being the reserves, are we? So for us, it's like, do we address that next summer? Because it could be where we're not signing two strikers, which sounds like a lot to do in terms of, you know, we've just won the league. So should we make those kind of wholesale changes? But I don't know, some food for
Fig.
thought there, because I do feel like we can't rely on injury-prone players to be the
yeah.
spearhead or to
No.
kind of challenge for those type of roles. I don't know what you guys think about that.
That's where you're gonna have the problem. See, I say it, and they right. As much as I love Jota, if you're only able to give you, if your availability is only going to be between like 30 or 40% a season, do you know what I mean? As much as I love you as a player,
It's
sorry,
powers.
you're
Yeah.
gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go. We need. Now's the time at the because see what it is. Next season, the vultures are gonna be around. Yeah, the vultures are gonna be around, waiting for
Yeah.
us to flop. I say, you know,
Yeah.
I told you so. I told you so. The vultures are gonna be there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So really and truly, what we need at the day, we need more reliable players in our squad, more reliable players that we can call on. Do you know what I mean? Even if you're not playing them sort of like week in and week out, they still got to be available, fit, and ready to go because you never know when you're going to get called upon. And I think people like Jota, which like you know, he gets injured just in the local club. Do you know what I mean? And he's like, all he wants to do is play FIFA and all them thing there. No, man, I'm not deaf on that. I'm not deaf on that. No, it's FIFA thing. I'm not deaf on that, man. So, like, things like that. And then you got Darwin Núñez at the day that sort of like, that's misfiring in front of goal. We've given him 3 seasons. He's going to have to go. So the first 2 players that I'll be looking to offload will be your likes of Jota and Darwin Núñez. And I think that's the only players at the day that we need to get rid of. And I think the rest at the day, right, we keep. Like even at the day, so even if we buy Kirkes, right, yeah, we buy Kirkes, I'm still looking to keep at least keep Robertson. I'm still looking to keep Robertson. I'm probably going to Shimka.
Definitely, to stay.
Because Robertson could be that squad player. He'll bring experience to the team. You can play him in League Cups. You can play him in FA Cups, in the preliminary rounds and stuff. No, then we're there. Do you know what I mean? He's still going to be valued to the team.
You still need that voice in the dressing room because that's what I'm saying. If Tsimikas was more like Aït-Nouri, for instance, I defo think that he would have played more games this season because Robbo's had some diabolical games this season, but Scott is clearly not confident enough in Tsimikas, or he would have played more games. You get what I'm saying? But so if that's the case, if you need to offload him, then so in that case, if you need to offload him, then offload him. But
what about Diaz? Diaz, does he stay for you, or do you think he needs to leave as well?
No, I'll keep Diaz. I will literally keep Diaz because these people at the day sort of like going to be vital to your team. You know what I mean? You don't want to sort of like make too much changes. You know what I mean? You make the obvious changes, but you don't want to make too much changes. And I think really and truly, if you start getting rid of like too many players, and then you bring in players, right? Your squad don't get that. Your squad don't expand. It still stay the same. And I think the problem that we've got is that there is squad depth. That's the problem we've got, and it's shown in certain games. It showed in that Plymouth game. It showed in a game against Newcastle. Even showed in the game in the second leg against PSG. Squad depth. Do you know what I mean? So really and truly, we should be looking to get rid of the obvious. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, Kelleher might go this season. Do you know what I mean? Because he wants more game time, and I think he deserves more game time. So if he can get to sort of like a good Premiership team at the end of the day, right, where he can sort of like, you know what I'll do? I'll even send him abroad. I'll tell him go abroad. I'll tell him go to Italy. I'll tell him go to Spain or Portugal. So that we can play week in and week out. Do you know what I mean?
I think the money that Liverpool want, though, I think only a Premier League team would pay that because he's not got long left on his contract.
What do you think we'll get for him?
I didn't see the need to buy him, but that's really. I think we just bought him because of the interest around him. Because the thing is that Joe Kelleher wants more minutes. He always gets a good quota a game because he's going to play the cup games, and Alisson always gets injured.
But to cut you, they actually haven't bought him yet. You know that
they bought him. They bought him.
No.
We loaned him back.
They haven't spent the money on him yet. They literally haven't. That's what come out.
They bought him. There were pictures of him on the Liverpool website and that. They bought him. We loaned him back.
No, I hear what you're saying. Because that's what I thought. But you know what come out? It come out at the day that we actually haven't spent any money on him yet. We're going to see how he goes this season and then spend the money. They ain't spend the money yet. That's what I thought was weird because I was under the impression like what you are. I was under the same impression that they bought him, then loaned him back to Valencia, and then they're going to get him back next season. But apparently it came out a couple of months ago that they actually haven't spent any money on him yet, which I think is weird.
It might be that the deal is agreed, but we haven't decided what the next step is. Because I know he's had a bit of a up and down season at Valencia, so it might be where we might not feel like he's ready to come. So it might be where we loan him out again, if that makes sense. So I don't think he's in the books, but it might be where we might not think he's ready. So that puts the question there: does Kelleher stay or not? So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the summer regards to goalkeepers. But
we don't need
him. We've got a good call.
Listen, we literally don't need him because what is his name? Right? Is this Alisson the best goalkeeper in the world? Right? We got the best number 2 in the world in Kelleher. We got the best number 3 in the world in Jaros. Remember, he's cold as well. You know, he's cold as well.
Josh is a good keeper.
Well,
Josh is a good keeper. He had to come on against Palace.
yeah, and he put some good saves in it.
You get me?
Yeah.
He's a good Josh is a good keeper, but even his contract as well. Not too long left on his contract.
Nah, he's going to get a contract extension. That's the rumor
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
He's going to get a
yeah.
new contract.
Cool.
So
Yeah, but the
he
thing
should
is,
stay.
with these 3 goalkeepers that we've got, yeah, at the present stage of the day, right? Yeah, I just didn't see the point in them going and get a manager really. Even if they have paid for him, because let's say they have paid for him, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
we're under the illusion that it's actually happened. So let's say that for argument's sake, they have paid for him. It's a waste of money.
Yeah.
He almost went Newcastle. It's because of the fact he's looked at as the hot, I think he's 24.
It was an opportunistic signing for us because he
one of
had
the
such
hot
a great
younger
Euros
keepers.
last year.
Yeah.
And
So we wanted to
for
make sure,
the fee was 25 million. That's what was reported. So
yeah.
for 25 million for a goalkeeper that could potentially be, one of the best in Europe in years to come, I understand why they went for him. But my issue with him signing him last year was the fact that we didn't address other areas, and that's something that me and Uncle Ross spoke about last year as well, where we spent money on a goalkeeper where we didn't really need to spend money there. And that 25 million could have been spent elsewhere. That was my issue with that
all the
signing.
positions on the pitch. That was the position that needed the
That
least.
was
We've got
the
two of
last
the
thing you
best
think.
keepers. We got 2 of the best keepers in the Premier
Yeah,
League in that
exactly.
position. It was really not needed. It was
Like,
not
if we had
needed.
other players, then it's a different situation. Then I'd be like, do you know what? My club's, future-proofing the goalkeeping department for years to come. But because other positions weren't addressed, that was my concern. Obviously, it's hindsight now because we won the league now. So
Yeah.
it probably, we'll give the credits to the guys. But for me and Richard Hughes, my opinion hasn't changed. I see him on the pitch today, smirking. I wasn't feeling it. I'm like, this guy ain't done nothing. He's just part of the furniture. He needs to put some work in now. So for me, he needs to do some work now. He needs to.
His name's Pierce Brosnan until we make some signings. Yeah.
Listen,
Pierce
he can
Brosnan,
be,
bro.
he can
You know
be
what I'm
his
saying?
lookalike. Do what he's got to do. He needs to do some work now.
Another guy in the day.
Damon Hill. His name's Damon Hill until we make some signings, bro.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
There used to be this guy. I don't know if older to remember. I can remember, right? There used to be this guy called Alan Wicker, yeah,
Okay.
and he was from New Zealand, right? And he used to go to all these countries in the day, exploring these countries in the day, Haiti and all Jamaica and all that. He used to go around, and he used to be called the Alan Wicker Show. I was when I was a kid, you know what I mean? Like you're probably your mums and dads might remember it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, right? Richard Hughes reminds me of him because the geezer's always on frigging holiday. He's always on frigging holiday. You know what I mean? He's either in Italy, signing up in Italy, signing up in Spain or France, whatever. I think to myself, well, what have you done to earn a holiday, my friend?
It's facts,
What have you done? I mean, I wish I had a job like that.
Can you speak as many languages as Hughes can, though?
Well, I can speak a little. I'll get by some little bit with that. Because apparently,
those countries, you're going to learn the language anyway. Like that's how much time he's like spending in these foreign countries, not doing any work. So you know what I'm saying? That's why he needs to do.
That's why he knows that language because he's in this country, not doing any work.
You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Apparently, he can speak Italian because he grew up in Italy, didn't he? He grew up in Italy. He can speak Italian, Spanish, and French. Yeah. Well, fat lot good that's doing us, mate, isn't it? Get done now.
Call Chesky, speak to him in French, tell him to come on board. You know what I'm saying? Like, speak to them in their language and get them on board. Like, do some work.
Isn't it?
Oh, man.
Seriously, parlez-vous français? Oui. Oui, ça va. You know what I mean? Yeah, seriously.
Who's that boy we want from Como, Oz? It's Giao, isn't it?
Yeah.
Giao, or that Como, they just got him from Betis.
Was he Spanish?
Oh, yeah. The young
Giao, is it? Yeah, Giao.
What's the Spanish?
Go Hughes too. Yeah, he plays for he's obviously of African descent, but yeah, he was
Senegalese, I think,
plays for Spain.
Oh yeah.
He plays for Spain. He's just gone to Como from Betis. He looks good. He can play anywhere across the front line.
Yeah, he's fine.
In terms of the 6, we talked about 6 earlier. Someone we were linked to that I wouldn't mind because then he wouldn't come, I don't think, and would be necessary to be the number 1, like if we were to get a Varela or a Belieber, because of the job Gaffer merchandise doesn't deserve to be taken out. that the Argentinian brother at Olympiacos, Santiago Heza.
See,
Okay.
He's decent. He
he's good, yeah.
and he'll shoot as well. He scored against Villa
Okay.
last season in the Europa League.
I'm
He's
gonna look him
decent
up.
as well.
So.
Yeah,
He
I'm
just
not.
looked, yeah.
I'm not
When we
familiar
did
with
it against Supermendi, that was who they were saying that we was going to get, but then
him.
obviously
Oh,
then
is
that
it?
never came to fruition.
Okay.
You get what I'm
No, I'm
saying?
gonna check on
So
him. I don't know too much about him, to be fair.
yeah, and I prefer Heza. Heza Hato over Kirkes. I like Kirkes, but again,
Okay.
fans are talking like he was the be all and end all. Even before him, people were
Yeah.
talking like Anthony Robinson was going to be the thing. Have you watched
Hello,
Robinson?
hello,
Have you watched Robinson play recently? Yeah,
yeah.
he's been having Western Supers, bruv, all over the
Yeah.
gaff. Yeah, that have been covered up by his 10 assists this season. Even though two of those shouldn't count. Those two
I
against
know it.
those
He
two
should have
against West Ham shouldn't even count, bruv. Them two passes to Iwobi near the halfway line, and Iwobi crossed it in, and they went into the goal. You get what I'm saying? I mean, but no, I don't want Robinson.
You know, Hatto's cold. You know,
Oh, Hato,
Oh,
I don't
man.
want
Hatto's
Hato,
cold. Remember, he could play like left back and left centre back
yeah,
as
and
well.
left centre back as well. And he was at Anfield a couple months ago.
Yeah,
He was at
yeah.
Anfield a couple months
I think
ago.
Gravenberch invited him
Yeah,
down there.
invited him down. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like,
you get what I'm saying? Because then to me that'll make more sense because then you've got Rubble there, who's the older the 30-year-old. You bit Hato bit by bit, and then the following season he takes over, and that's your number one left back
Yeah.
there, and obviously can play the left centre back as well, which would allow Slot when he wants to make the change, if he wants to advance one of
Yeah.
the fullbacks into midfield, and then you've got a proper three at the back. So Gravenberch
Yeah.
doesn't have to drop back there. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
I mean, and
no,
just
right,
Give the options.
I mean, so
right.
there's options, man. The thing is that we could make all the signings that were kind of insinuated, but not everybody is definitely going to settle. So in terms of the forward position and the centre back from Van Dijk, make those this summer. So then if you do make the error, because they're already implemented into the squad when them man are going to play less into their
Yeah.
second, they're highly unlikely to get another 2-year contract when at the end of that 2-year contract.
So find their successors now rather
Yeah,
than later.
that's it
I
now.
agree.
And then you get me, then we can go on from there, bro. You get me?
I think
So,
Hatto will be a good successor when it comes to obviously,
Yeah.
you know, even like Robertson and even Virgil van Dijk because he can play these
We
positions.
can take that role as well.
You know what I mean? He's so, you know, he's got so much right.
Yeah.
And he's young as well. He's
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
You needs to get about 10 or 11 years. Excuse me, 10 or 11 years out of him. Do you know what I mean? It's true what you're saying. You know, we need to go out and get those players now. So, like, you know, in about a year or two time, we're not scratching around trying to find that player.
They're
We've got-
ready made.
Do you know what I mean? We need to go. We need to go get. And that's why I'm saying this transfer window this summer is going to be so important for Liverpool Football Club. It's going to be very important. Do you know what I mean? That we get the right players. Do you know what I mean? For the right position and that. And you know, not only that, you're buying players at the day that you can sort of like jiggle around with. You know what I mean? That can sort of like, you know, that can cover for certain positions and so forth. I'm not going to look out of place. You know what I mean? I'm not really sure on that Osman. Do you know what I mean? Because I think at the day, as you just said, as you alluded to, he's like a polished up sort of like Darwin Núñez, and we want something different than that. We want sort of like listen. We've got to the stage at the day of our team, of our growth, and we're the most successful English club in history. We're the most successful one. We've got to the stage at the day that we should be having ballers. We should be getting ballers in our team. Do you know what I mean? You know, and that's the only way that you stay at the top. Because no doubt at the end of the day, right, that Arsenal's got this new sporting directors, right? They're going to be looking at certain players. They're going to be looking at certain players to bring certain players. You know what I mean? To try and get over the line next season. Do you know what I mean? And I think at the end of the day, we need to defend that border. Do you know what I mean? And that means going out and buying ballers. Going out and buying players that's going to make other teams scared. Even Man City's scared and say, "Right." Do you know what I mean? You know, is that you man are going on? Do you know what I'm saying? We need to go
We
and
need
do that.
statement signings. That's what we need. Statement signing. Even if it's one or two, that's what we need to give that fair factor. Oh, these guys been business again next season. Because if it's all good about signing young up and coming players, but if you don't have a statement signing, then I feel like you know, you've got to have that as well. You've got to bring that fair factor to other rivals.
What about that guy? What about that guy from Crystal Palace, Adam Wharton?
baller.
Oh, he's cold.
Yeah,
Liverpool,
he's a
but
good shooter, though.
Rog,
And
You like him.
Rods, there was an athletic article. Do you know that all these players that were mentioning, we look at them, but we wait for other teams to buy them. We were meant to get,
Yeah, that's
we
what
were
we
meant
do,
to,
man.
we were. I can't remember what writer it was, whether it was Doyle or Joyce or one of them. We were
Yeah.
meant to get Wharton from Blackburn, but we
Yeah.
thought he was too similar to Badsesic, so we passed on him.
Listen. Oh, that's a
That was
shout.
why. I'll try and find the piece and I'll send it to you, bruv.
Yeah,
They thought
send
in
me.
terms of the way he plays, the fact that he can clamp a man and carry the ball, you get what I'm saying, bruv. So now we're being linked to him again when he's going to cost 10 times what we could have flipping
Yeah,
got
he's
him
gonna
for. You
cost
get
a
what I'm
lot.
saying, bruv?
Yeah.
And this is what gets on my nerves, bruv.
Monitor FC, that's what
When
we are, man.
Alcaraz went to Southampton, there were so many names that you go through. We were
Yeah.
the ones that were bloody linked to them first, bruv.
Enzo Fernandez was one as well.
Enzo. That's what they've been cussing about
Yeah.
because they're saying that now
You got for
that
8 million.
whole Chelsea midfield, Lavia, Enzo, and Sacheta, we were meant to get all three, and now they're gonna have to give us a card of honor. You get, you get what I'm saying? I mean, that you get me that Chelsea midfield. So yeah, but it's all these men were linked to them. So it's fun you say Water because I think he's quality, but he's had the injury this season, which is why he's not even thing. That Francis goes, check the core rate. Another one that was linked to us before.
Yeah,
This
he
is
will
why
link
we're
to them
always
as well.
running joke on the timeline about you always see these articles like, Liverpool admire this player, Liverpool are monitoring this player every
Yeah.
week, and then they go to other teams. So what exactly are you monitoring, bruv? You're not buying any of them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I mean. We've been guilty of that for a long time now. All these players. Look at that guy. Even that guy that went to Wolves.
Andre,
Andre,
yeah.
as well.
We was linked with him. Do you know what I mean? And they bought another player. Wolves bought another player that we was linked with, and
We were linked to João Gomez too. We were linked to João Gomez before
Andre
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
João Gomez and Andre. But you know the thing is with the Andre thing, the Andre deal was done, but then they didn't want to sell him because they wanted him to play in the Copa Libertadores.
Yeah.
finals.
That's
And
it.
then
We had
obviously-
fans staying up till 2 in.the morning to watch that competition.
and then the joke was he didn't even play that great in the fight. He didn't even play that great in the final after all that. You get what I'm saying? The deal
I'll
was
tell you who was cold in that final. That final for was it Fluminense? Fluminense. That guy, the blonde hair, John Kennedy. The one he was cold, you know. When he took that shot and then he just clotted it, just clotted in the back of the net. I was like, raw.
Oh man.
Yeah, but you know what it is? I think what it is with that situation and is that they never want to sell because obviously they want him to sort of like play in that Champions League. But they said that if you're coming through now, you're gonna have to pay a premium. And the premium wasn't that much, but they didn't want to pay the premium because they thought, look, if we go through in January, it's going to be more like cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they said, right, you know what? They're going to come back in for January. But the usual FSG Liverpool thing and right, they lose interest, and then all of a sudden they were supposed to be sort of like Fulham was supposed to be interested, and he was supposed to be going to Fulham. So then Liverpool said that, and they we're not going to chase after sort of like players, and we don't do that. But in the end, Fulham didn't even want him. He went to Wolves in the end. Do you know what I mean? You know, so we've been linked with all these players before. Yeah. It's even now. There's so many players that we've been linked with, and it's unbelievable. I've got to a certain stage at the day to say, well, look, I don't listen anymore. I just wait till the transfer window comes and see what happens.
That's official. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting bored of being Monitor FC now, honestly. So
Bruno Guimaraes is another one that we were interested in.
Oh, yeah, when he's at Lyon.
It goes to Newcastle. Mateus Nunes, I remember Ozzy going live and cussing because that was the guy that he wanted to go and let him go to Wolves, and now he's doing up right back at Manchester City. You know what I'm saying? That, I mean, so there's so many players that you can.
Who's that defender for Newcastle? Defender for Newcastle.
Botman.
Yes, one Botman.
Yeah, Botman to come to Liverpool. Yep.
Yeah, when he was with Lille,
he didn't want to be Van Dijk's backup for that was more the individual because he didn't want to be backup for Van Dijk, and at club
Long
and
season though, to
international
be
at
fair.
club and international level. You get me? But yeah, we were the Botman deal was one. I'm trying to think of what other players that we should
There's
have
too
got.
many.
There's just so many,
There's
man.
too many. I think we've got a history of like monitoring
Yeah,
so
true.
many players.
Did you just say true many? We went to get true many.
Too many was fun, yeah.
I remember even we went to get. I
You know,
remember
We were linked to Camavinga as well.
we were
Players that we
Camavinga as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
We were close to getting Goretzka a couple of seasons ago. I don't know if you remember that because I remember Raphael Honigstein on he came on somewhere and he was talking about in terms of the midfielders that we have, it might be a bit of box to box overkill and
Yeah.
whatnot. You get me? And there's so many players, brother. We just let other teams buy them when like we can. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, so it's like they're waiting for them to audition. The article was saying for other teams to see whether they can handle the league or not, and then we will come in to get them for 3 times the bloody price that we could have got them for.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense, but the mean, so boy, find
Yeah,
those players that have got the European passport and get them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Even if it's case you feel boom, like loan them for a season or whatever.
Yeah.
We
Hopefully there's no more auditions. No more auditions now.
Games.
Sign the real deals.
was thinking with the thing, you know. We was thinking with Ugarte as well. We was thinking with
We
Ugarte.
were linked to
We
Ugarte,
were.
you're right.
In the Euro, we was thinking with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know,
were.
and like Bruno Fernandes, we was thinking with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The joke was I went to Portugal for my friend's wedding a few years ago before Fernandez went to United. And the guy who ran the Airbnb, I won't bait up his name, his cousin worked for Sporting Lisbon. So he told me way in advance that we were linked to Bruno. But apparently we didn't think he influenced the game enough when he wasn't scoring or assisting, which when you watch him at Man United is actually
That's what he does now.
that's actually what happens. But yeah, long time ago we were meant to get Bruno in. So yeah, there's more like I'm trying to think of. There's just so many, man.
There's
There
so many.
was a lot.
There's just so many that we get linked to, and then we let them other teams buy them. I'm sitting there, but we've won the league anyway, innit? So as long as
That's it. Hopefully we're not doing any more auditions now, and we're trying to sign the real deals this summer because I feel like that's going to be pivotal into what we do next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, big up to you guys. I know we can speak all night. To be fair, we can go on and on. But guys, Uncle Rods, Double D, appreciate your time as always. Look, this is a celebration episode. I still got my shisha here, so I'm not going to sleep anytime soon. But you know, it's a celebration for all of us. And look, long may it continue as well. Hopefully, we address the positions that we've discussed today, and we go again next season. So, yeah, big up yourself.
Champion, Listen, it's been a red day. You know what I call it? A red day. You know, it's a red day. A red day. You understand? You know what I mean? When Gary Neville comes out and said in a day, right? Today that will make them in a day. All European Cups and that will make them the most successful club. You know what I mean?
The day is over. The man's still and so you know it's still we've made history today. So we've done it. We've done it. Number 20. And that's more to come.
The thing is, I got myself here. This is my old laptop I'm on, and I bought a new laptop. Well, a newish one, a 2021. And I've already put like Keynote on there, and I've already put like OBS on there. So yeah, it's all about a new look. Uncle Rob channel, bro. It's a new look, man. And make sure D you come on my show, man.
Big up, Rose. Big up that.
Make sure you get Double D on my show, bro.
Facts. Don't worry. Double D is going to be involved a lot more now. So yeah, definitely.
Trust me, man. Any time. Ethan, obviously we've got the show's YouTube. I might have to drop a little.
Yeah.
Drop my own
thing. You got a channel?
For the crew that I'm part of here, the Footy Factory, D&D Football Factory. We've got a YouTube still, but
have you got his link? Oz?
Get me?
Yeah, send it to me. Message,
And
message it to me. Yeah,
send
message.
me watches because I first saw you ages ago once on Copish, I think it was long time ago.
Yeah, yeah. Then my
Long time
brethren
ago
told
when
me.
you read that one of my comments and whatnot as well with it. So they've Matt and not Drifty, but Matt and Callum came on our show about 2.5 months ago. They came on our years rather 2.5 years ago on our radio show. Yeah, so yeah, good people, man. But yeah, we
No,
got
they lovely guys. I got a lot of time for them guys. I mean,
do
the
this
last
thing.
time I was on their show, not the one just gone, the one before that, we was just talking for time. Me and Jifty, and then me and Matt was like had the debate and everything that, right? And it was just so good. And like, I sometimes I call Cal and everything that because I got his number. I call Cal. I chat with Cal. He's been on my channel before. He's such a lovely guy. They guys are such lovely people.
Yeah, they're good
They've
people.
always got time for the. And do you know what I don't understand about them? I mean, I know we've got to go. Just say one last thing. What I don't understand about Coppish and they, right? They work so hard.
Yep.
The content is so good.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised that they're only on like nearly 30-something thousand.
Yeah, I think it's about 36 or 37,000, isn't it? Yeah.
For the amount of hard work they put in their channel, the amount of vibes you get from the channel and everything the channel, right? I think, and this is what I personally feel it now. I've told you before, they should be at 70,000.
Yeah.
There's people that do shows and day. I'm not being funny. There's people that do shows, right, that are not half as good as Coppish at the day, right?
Yeah.
They've got more subscribers than them.
They might be buying them, Rods. They might be buying them.
They might, but this is what I always say in the day, right? You've got people that link up with people that know how to work the algorithm. Because remember, it's all about the algorithm.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people out there that know how to work the algorithm, and they're powered up with those sort of people.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. I've started, I kind of like looked and seen certain things in the day, right? And for no say, yeah, that's it. Because when you watch a copy show and everything that, right, you literally forget that you're watching a content creators.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You literally feel that and you're in a room with some guys and they just holding a pipe.
Yeah, just having a convo. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You know? So like I'm just so surprised. I'm kind of like disappointed, you know, like upset.
But that's probably the reason, Rods, that's probably the reason why. That's probably the reason why. And you might be going through the same thing. They're not it's just they're authentic. They're not trying to book clickbait out there. They're not chatting crap about other clubs and
they're not
whatnot.
trolling type of content creators, so that's the difference.
You get what I'm saying? That was what happens to us with the radio, but people will buy it all day. I'm not even going to name certain acts, but that's what happens. Just come out there and have a proper convo about footy, but people want the clickbait. People want them going mad online and flipping out, cussing. They want the grandeurs of delusion, innit? You get what I mean? You get what
they want like the toxic content in it. Because I see a lot. Like I see a lot. I mean, I did a show the other day, which is gaining good traction, and it was about like troops in the day. And what he had a debate with Saeed in the day, and what he was saying about.
Oh, when you said only Saka, yeah. Troops is my boy.
What he's trying to say is like he's trying to say like basic and day, right? Liverpool ain't good. Liverpool don't deserve to win the title. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. He goes, if we didn't have if we didn't have any injuries, so much injuries, right, and like refereeing decisions, we will won the league and all that rubbish. It's just like it was just like nonsense. He's just talking nonsense there, yeah. But you see what it is today with guys like that. I'm not saying just him, but with guys like that. What they're doing and they tend to sort of like say things outrageous, So like next time they're on, you're thinking in there, what else is he gonna say outrageous? You know what I mean? No, they don't actually mean what they're saying. It's just the shock value. That's it. Shock value. Is that shock value? And toxic and all that because he had Salvo at the end of the day. Salvo did a show at the end of the day, right? And he was trying to have a conversation with this guy that had this guy, I think it's Paul Hippie or something, like Spurs, another Spurs supporter. And basically in the day, sort of like, you know, on his other show, he was calling Salvo and they I see you next Tuesday, right? And so this guy's coming and showing up that now, and he's like asking, why are you talking to me? Why are you cussing me like this and this and that? And I think to myself, well, why it's a pointless at the end of the day you having him on your show, asking him a question at the end of the day, right? That he's not going to give you the right answer for because he just doesn't care. He doesn't care, that, right? What you should be doing at the end of the day, right, is avoiding those sort of people and just doing your stuff. Do you know what I mean? Avoid those sort of people. If there's sort of people that they got things to say about you on that sort of thing, there, just let it slide in there from that. And obviously, if you do see the person, then that's the next conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, but you don't need to bring that on the road on the thing at the day, trying to make peace and trying to sort of like ask him why he's calling you this and that, calling you this and that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it just doesn't make sense. I don't get in those arguments or dead little things there and then they with people with my channel because it doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good for your channel.
Yeah.
It don't do any good. Do you know what I mean? So I try to stay away from it. I like listen. I mix with people like yourself, Ozzy, like yourself, and Fuzzy. Got Fuzzy and he's another good friend of mine, and a few other people. I'm not in this to sort of like for stress purposes. I'm not in this for stress. I'm in this today because at the end of the day, I love football. I love my club, Liverpool Football Club, and I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm in it for. Do you know what I mean? I'm not in it to sort of like argue with people, to banter with people, to do this. No, man, I'm too old for that. You know, to me, at the day, that's little kids' business.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'll always be around people like Ozzy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll always now I've met you, brother. Yeah, man, we'll link up.
Yeah.
Ozzy knows at the day, right? Yeah, he can call me anytime and say, "Look, I got a show. We'll jump on." He knows whatever time of the night is, and I will jump on.
Yeah,
where I say it in the day, if put it this way, in the day, I'm in this business and everything. If I want to know somebody, if I rise, they have to rise too, you know.
But
they have to rise too.
That's what it's about, bro.
Right, exactly. So like, Ozzy knows it, and at any time in the day, he can call me anytime. Say, "Yo, brother, come jump on my show." I say, "Yeah, pay less than day. Send me the link. Come on there."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's how it is, man. And that's how we should be doing it as content creators.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It shouldn't be so like this bickering. Shouldn't be this toxic stuff and all this stuff and everything. And you're calling, man, I'll see you next Tuesday and all that.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
What the people?
That's how people are. There's bare trolls on there. There's bare trolls on there. Some of my peeps that have got their channels are getting death threats on a weekly basis and all this nonsense just for speaking the real about their club and
it's all opinions. We're all here to speak our sort of opinions or voice our opinions. Like, you know, the only reason I go into it kind of similar to Uncle Roz. For me, it's about talking about football, talking about what I love. We all got passion for football. We all got passion for Liverpool Football Club, and I'm here to build a community. So that's why Uncle Roz, you know, is always welcome on my channel, and that's why I try and collaborate with people like Uncle Roz that have that same kind of mind frame. It's not about me being better than anyone else. We're all one. We're all one community. So we all support the same club, and we should move together as well. So that's probably a great segue to end the show. So guys, big up for coming on. Because you know we've won the league title and we're showing unity here as well at the same time. That's how it should be. We're all celebrating together. 20 times, exactly. Right. So, big up as always.
Yes.
Letting the people know how to reach out to you in terms of your content, and please plug your channel as well.
Listen, it's all about football. It's all about football. It's all about Liverpool Football Club, the most successful English club in history.
Louder for the people in the back.
And history, I wanted to know that history. You know what I mean? But listen, you can find me at Anfield Uncle Rods. I do like content. I do content for obviously Liverpool reactions. I do reaction previews, and generally sort of like talk about the other game and talk about Liverpool Football Club. You know what I mean? Next season, we'll try and move forward and do some more podcast based stuff, and you know what I mean, and things like that. But you know, listen, it's always going to be love on my channel. Do you know what I mean? As I said, everybody's welcome on my channel. As long as you're courteous and got respect, you're welcome on my channel. Do you know what I mean? Anfield Uncle Rod. Well, it's not Uncle Rod's now. Uncle Rod's on YouTube. Uncle Rod's on Instagram and also on Twitter as well. That's where you can find me. And also, obviously, on my good Brechin's show as well, man. I'll be on there rocking with him, talking about football, man. And listen, at the end of the day, we got, was it 4 games to go? In the day,
4 games.
Yep.
we've still got 12 points to play for because
Yeah.
I want the most points. I just want
That's
the
what I'm
most.
saying. I want at least 90. I
Same.
want at least 90. I want.
Yes,
You get me?
that's what I
At
say.
least
That's what
90.
we should be doing it, and
Yeah.
we've got those points to play for. As I said, you know, what I mean, last game of the season is good Crystal Palace. Then the next day is going to be the parade, which I'm going to be there.
Come
I'm
on.
going to be there at the parade and everything that. So I hope to see you guys there as well. Do you know what I mean? We're good.
See, I'm trying to make my way there, so you might see you there as well. So I'll give you a
Yeah,
shout.
I'm 50-50 right about now because it's my mum and my nephew's birthday, so I
wow,
might not. Yeah, I know. So I might not even be
You
able
might
to.
you might try and sneak out, you know. Sneak out.
Sneak out the window, bro.
You know that's what I'm saying. What we used to do when he's a youth, innit? When you were not allowed to go out, sneak out the window.
Gotta be done, man. It's gotta be done. But Uncle Ross, big up yourself. I look forward to
Big up,
your new content as well. Double
big up,
D,
big
let
up,
people
big
know
up,
how to
big
follow
up,
you,
big up.
and please plug your channel as well.
Yeah, man. On all platforms everywhere, whether it be Insta, Snap, whatever. Double D, that's DUBULDEE. It's up. If you're listening to an audio, then obviously you can't see how it's written. And I'm part of the D&D Football Factory. That's at DD Footy Factory _ on all platforms as well. And we go live every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Top FM with the Footy on Top show every Saturday. You get your occasional podcasts and whatnot, but obviously because we're on radio every week, they're not as frequent. And so 10 a.m. on Top FM. If you have not, if you're not in London, you might not always be able to pick it up. So best to download the On Top FM app to listen to us and all the other great shows on Top FM. But yeah, so you get me. So, but yeah, D&D Footy Factory is the YouTube. You'll get like clips from the show on there and all the podcasts on there as well. But yeah, the radio shows every Saturday. You get me.
Yeah, keep it, brother. Keep up the good work, man. Keep up the
Come
good
on,
work.
man.
And also, you send his link to me.
Oh,
And you as well.
yeah,
Yeah, and you as well.
Following that and
Yeah,
subscribing.
yeah. Big up, man. Yeah,
Obviously, radio listening and that, but
yeah.
keep up the good work, man. Love and respect. Keep up
Yeah,
the
yeah.
good work.
Always.
Love
Big
and
up,
respect.
appreciate it, guys. Thank you
Take
so much for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah.
Take care, stay safe, and yes,
Love,
we
man.
are
All love,
Premier League
all love.
champions. Goodbye. Come on, Ewings. Let's go.
Campione.
Oh, no.